Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Iran War Day 55 and domestic bliss. You know, watching you forgot to make bliss in white.
Yeah, I just spotted that. I'll fix it.
Oh, no.
I know. Stop the show. We have to. Anyway, all right. Welcome to the Council on Future Conference. Thanks for coming here, guys. It's always good to see a nice active chat when we turn on. By the way, if you were tuning in, you will notice that we went almost 30 seconds early today, which I don't, Joe, I mean, when was the last time we went 30 seconds early ever?
Let's be honest.
Well, let me point out that it's still 44 minutes and 30 seconds late from the agreed upon time.
Well, I mean, it's...
Right. But look, we did this, just so we're clear, in order to collect on a handsome poly market bet. We knew that was going to happen. So
that's true. We used the insider information of the actual starting time to
I didn't even think about this. I've been making money off of poly market every single time.
I'm telling you, Joe, it's the future. It's the future. Text me white. That is actually on a watcher's fault. So I can honestly say that.
No, it's 100% me. Yeah.
All right, guys. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, but before we do, let's go around the horn. Joe, how you doing, brother?
I am doing well and good. I just want to point out that at the risk of YouTube killing our stream for mentioning the word bullpup yet again, every nation except for one that has ever adopted a bullpup service rifle has now gone away from a bullpup service rifle. I'm just throwing that out there. Almost like the ergonomics don't actually work in combat.
Weird.
Who knew?
Is that is that Australia?
Austria.
Austria still uses the Styrog?
Yeah. At that point, it's a matter of personal pride, right? Glock was like, listen, we still have a contract to produce bayonets, so you can't switch.
Let's be honest. Austria, not what you'd call a military powerhouse.
Glock accepted, right? I mean,
yeah, not even a member of NATO, oddly enough. So
for the record, all of you Glock stands, for those of you who've been in my fieldcraft class, you will know that the best item made by Glock is not the pistol and it's not the knife. It is the Glock E tool. So now I've given you all a rabbit hole to go down. Go find yourself a Glock E tool.
Yeah.
But don't go digging into all of the products Glock makes.
Yeah.
All right.
Some people are collectors. They just gotta have one of everything.
All right, gentlemen, let's dig into. Well, Watcher, how are you
doing? Doing good. You know what? We have a lot of comedy in the show today. It's going to be a good day. You know.
Well, the sad thing is that you look at all the news and we look at, and you can either laugh or you can cry, right?
Yeah.
And so.
We've
choose to just,
we've chosen to laugh. And I'll say, hey, before we move on from the bullpup conversation, let's just say I'm sure that the Austrians will adopt the log or long og now that they've seen it.
Let me address this nonsense in the chat about Australia using it. Australia has it on the books, but I've never seen an Australian in a far off dusty land actually using the bullpup gun. They're almost always using a 416. So.
China supposedly is developing one, and it's garbage.
No, they had one and they replaced it.
Yeah, they used it for like 5 years and realized it fucking was garbage. But then again, the sad thing is my understanding is the thing that replaced it is also garbage. So I mean,
yeah, they replaced it as an M4 clone, and it's garbage. Scott, have you ever seen an Australian actually carrying a bullpup?
I'm actually Googling that right now. Australian infantry, Afghanistan. Let's see if
every infantryman I saw in Afghanistan was carrying a HK 416.
Weirdly, because I was, HKs are pretty much all I saw. Yeah.
Yep, Bob, okay. I'm dumb. Yeah.
Let's see. Here we go. Here's one with a 416. Let's see. What do these guys have? This is a guy's got a 416. That might be a style. Okay, I have photographic evidence that they. You're gonna love this. This is almost like proves your point. This is the best I could do to just prove your point while still proving your point at the exact same time.
Uh-oh. I get
Cook is carrying the bullpup, and the infantryman is carrying. Yeah, one and one.
Sire, and one guy with an M4.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Bob.
Here you go. Here you go. There's two. There's two. But yeah, look at their uniforms. These guys look like staff officers who got out to the fob just to.
These are guys who have the low tier old being replaced rifle, but every other one I've seen has been carrying the HK 416.
And this is a 7.62 HK right here.
It's basically the Australian equivalent of being handed a Mosin Nagant if you're in, any of the Slavic countries.
It's just like when the Australians went to Vietnam. Their service rifle was the FAL, but what did they carry when they got to Vietnam?
Yeah, you carried the same thing. Yeah, the US had. So anyway, so yes, are there it's kind of like saying all fire engines are red. No, there are some yellow fire engines out there, but yes, most fire engines are red.
Those photos are 15 years old. Yes, Bob, that's when it was.
That was the last time Australia made a relevant contribution.
I'm sorry, Bob, but they did carry the 416. They may still also use whatever their variant is of the Stereo G, but when they're actually in combat, I've only seen them use the 416.
Well, you know who did
carry it's different, buddy.
You know who did carry the FAL in Vietnam were some of the MACV SOG teams, which I thought was kind of interesting.
They really wanted a round that was better in the brush, and same reason why we go AK over AR out here in the woods, but when we go into the city, we take the AR.
Well, the RPD too was something that they carried. Those cut down RPDs, those things are actually. I want to find a picture
Bob.
of one.
But what I'm saying is that was also the last time we were making any kind of relevant thing. So that was the last time all the big pictures would be.
Shit! Yeah, look that up. I am less interested in the pedantic arguments that we're having in the chat and more interested in,
especially if you're just going to be shouting profanity about it. Get over it, dude.
Look at this, Joe.
We're wrong. We admit we're wrong.
I have no idea what you guys are even talking about because I don't put any energy into stupid stuff in the chat. That being said, look at this fucking drip.
That right there was the best. The RPD, yeah.
The shorty RPD with the black fatigues. Oh,
I'm telling you, I want a shorty RPD really bad. Yeah.
Look at that. This was a filthy setup, man. And look at this motherfucker. I mean, I wouldn't fuck with this dude.
Listen, 13 women were impregnated just seeing that photo.
I am slightly confused by that gun. I'm going to need to research how that thing works.
Well, it's just a gas tube. It's basically like a long stroke gas, except for instead of having the gas tube on top of the barrel like the AK, it's underneath and it's belt fed. Mm. My understanding is that it's not exactly like an AK system, but it is essentially a long stroke gas that goes under the bolt.
So RPD kind of bridged the gap between the RPK and the PKM, right? It's sort of an intermediary step, but I still like that gun.
It's sexy looking, man.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Joe, I think the RPD came first, and then the
RPK.
Yeah, because they basically said, why have two different guns when we could just make a squad automatic rifle version of the AK?
Bridging the gap means bridging the gap, whichever way it went. But
I see what you're saying. I thought you meant like it was like you had one first and then, yeah.
No.
I take your meaning. Anyway, I just wanted to share those sexy ass pictures of
Scott, I just apologize. There's a clip that I should have had on hand a long time ago that would have been useful way more often.
Or a magazine? Oh,
a clip. It would have been. It will be very useful. Which is, gentlemen, no fighting in the war room.
Hey, I'll just say this: my boots were in that dust. Were yours?
And yeah, Watcher.
No, I wasn't talking about Watcher, but okay.
Gentlemen.
See, Joe, when it comes, I don't acknowledge that this thing along the side, if I don't acknowledge it, then it can't bother me. It's mind over matter. I don't mind because it doesn't matter. Now, that being said, that's a shoe. If the shoe fits, wear it, chat. There are plenty of people in the chat that.
Now, before we get to our next,
Joe, here's proof that there are.
See, I told you. That's exactly what happened. 13 women were impregnated by just seeing that photo.
Now, in order to keep our channel in good standing in many places, I have to now say the following before we introduce our next clip. There is a chance that the following clip might be AI generated. Unconfirmed. I
mean, it's unconfirmed, grain of salt. I mean, but it could also be very real. So this is and by the way, the other two haven't seen this one yet. So we'll see how it grows on them.
No, that's real.
It only gets crazier. I love the goat.
I understand that, but I have to ask a legitimate question. The cardboard one.
Cardboard was too good.
So, Watcher and I agreed to watch this without seeing it beforehand. Scott was laughing uproariously. But I have a serious question for Scott. What is it about your search history and viewing
that
history
made this come up very
being
seriously?
served up on your algorithm?
I mean, probably dying Iranians, maybe. I don't know.
In drag?
Well, I didn't search for this. The algorithm decided I needed to see it.
Wow. Well, that's it. I've decided.
Joe's like, goodbye, cruel world.
Goodbye, cruel world.
We're going to test the pistols for mouthfeel.
I told you I was a good dancer.
Watch the team.
Oh,
all right,
tiny dancer.
All right, gentlemen. Enough of that silliness.
Speaking of silliness, I corrected someone this weekend. You know the little flat panel on the front of your trigger guard on a pistol? That God only knows why they actually put it there. Well, somebody was using that while shooting on my range this weekend, and I stopped all firing, and I said, hold on. Are you in a movie right now? No. That ledge is for movie stars on movie posters. If you are not in a movie, please remove your finger from there. It's one of my pet peeves. That's not a finger rest.
Oh, yeah. Man.
You're talking
Watch
about the
your shooting improve. Yeah.
The little,
right under the barrel, the front of the trigger guard. Your finger does not belong there. Your finger belongs under the trigger guard.
Yeah, it's never occurred to me to ever try to put my finger there.
Well, if people see movie posters, guys have their fingers there all the time in a movie poster. But those people don't know anything about guns. So it's almost as bad as when somebody gets on my range and starts to use the teacup method. That's 35 minutes of your life you will never get back hearing a lecture from me about the teacup method.
See, I would be more inclined to go for the old 70s, your 60s,
that is
one-armed.
Hand behind your back or hand in your pocket.
I will have you know that if you shoot with me, that is probably how I'm going to shoot, because that is the Marine Corps competition pistol shooting method.
Well,
funny.
that was how they taught people to shoot pistol, like combat pistol back in the.
Well, yeah, we don't
the
teach
50s
combat
and
pistol
the
that way.
60s.
We do not teach combat pistol that way.
I know, but when you look at like the World War II manual, combat shooting of the one-hand gun, they do it all one-handed.
Yeah,
literally all.
Hand in pocket or hand in belt loop, depending on circumstances.
Stormy's got it. She clearly must have some time this morning, Joe, because she's got some zingers here.
You're 100% right, Stormy. It's exactly the same.
All right.
Tell you this: bullseye shooting is not combat shooting.
No, no, oh, no.
What is going on here? There we go. All right, let's hit up this first odds and ends. I wanted. Here's the thing: like, this is not as much about a specific thing in Nigeria that has happened, but it's just your weekly reminder that Christians are actively being persecuted, oppressed, and murdered in Nigeria, and it's not Donald Trump's responsibility to fix this problem. And people need to understand that, that the only people who can help themselves is themselves. Self-help is the only help that they can rely upon, especially when your government doesn't seem interested in helping. Now, that being said, letting Donald Trump know so that he can pressure your government, now that's in the realm of potential opportunity here for these folks. And I think, using social media to do this, I think is so let's listen to what this guy has to say. I think he's speaking in English here. So
Trump must come in Nigeria. He must come. We support the coming of American soldiers in Nigeria. And President Trump must come in Nigeria.
And you guys thought we wouldn't bring Pigeon English back.
That's right.
Yes, as you can see, we are progressing peaceful protests. We support the coming of President Trump in Nigeria. This killing of Christians is too much in Nigeria.
So, first of all, Alpha Charlie Concepts, he is speaking English. It just doesn't sound like it. Two, one of the greatest things about Africans is they are enthusiastic about literally anything they talk about.
Thousands of Christians have been slaughtered in Nigeria, and the world is keeping silent. Thousands of Christians have been slaughtered in Nigeria.
What just happened to Watcher?
So we support President Trump, but we are begging.
The funny thing is he was sharing that, but then he got disconnected. What happened?
Sharing. What's a couple of things. Number one, he did one of the most African things ever, and he put his own photo directly underneath Donald Trump's because he's got to get his too. But speaking of Pigeon English, I want to commend Patrick. I don't know if he's in the chat yet today, but in our Tuesday night Bible study, Patrick about 50% of the time memorizes the verse in Pigeon English, and it is absolutely fun.
I feel like maybe I should redo today's brush beater ad in Pigeon English again. It's been a while.
Because no offense, you're terrible at it.
But I like the kind of the even American accent.
The best thing about Blood Diamond is Danny.
I speak jive.
Pigeon English, right?
Excuse me, I speak jive.
Excuse me, I speak jive. You want me to give them to the government? Yeah, it's a great film. So, Watcher is just gone.
Yeah, Watcher just decided I'm gonna fuck off.
Watcher's like, screw you people, I'm out. I wanted to look
going home. That's exactly right. That's exactly.
But listen, I will say this: I'm more willing to lose a few special forces soldiers there fighting Boko Haram than I was losing them in Kenya and El Shabaab country, where the majority of the people in that region supported El Shabaab. Let me go somewhere where they can actually do some good, right? If you remember the infamous Kenyan ambush, right?
Yeah, I can't do an Irish accent if you haven't noticed. I can I can say it in the same words that they would say, but it would be just an American saying it in Irish kind of.
My son can do every accent of the Commonwealth, and you can tell them all apart. He does a very good job. Scottish, Irish, Australian, New Zealand, Canada.
Believe it or not, when I was a young man dating, I actually learned all the different accents. I was particularly good at Scottish and South African because I dated Scottish and South African girls.
Well,
it's one of those kind of things. When you stop using it, you lose it.
I wouldn't say we're dating, but me and Gideon talk a lot, and he keeps telling me that I've really picked up some good South African accent and a few good pieces of Afrikaans, just the best pieces. Like this patch. Stand by. I guess while we're waiting for Watcher, I can show this.
How about Ebonics? That's that I might be able to do.
I put them on a shirt. That's why they're not right here. But my patch is for me and Gideon's private security company, protracted operations and extraction specialist, or POOS, which means exactly what it sounds like it means. Is Afrikaans. Watcher, did you survive the abduction? Are you okay?
I did, yeah.
Did the aliens use an anal probe on you?
Well, yeah, this was North Koreans this time. That's all right. They're small. They're small in stature. I got away with using only 22.
Well, you got to watch out. Some of those North Koreans have got actual combat experience now.
Yeah, not the chubby students they send to the U.S. We're fine.
Okay. This next one is I don't know if I'd call it aspirational. It's definitely kind of it's more than aspiration at this point. But it's not. There's no way. It's not going to get built until after Trump's out of office. So
look, if it doesn't have that emblem on the back, I don't want
it. Trump class, yeah. But you got Joe. The Navy and military guys. Somebody will have that poster somewhere on that ship.
Oh yeah. But everything. Can I point about the photo? Oh, USS Defiant, really? That's the name of It's one of the British ship names that they keep in rotation. So I really wish we would have picked something other than the Defiant. But anyway, carry on.
Well, Joe, I think of it this way: they have dropped the rotation, and we've decided that since they are going to become, the next British battleship will most likely be called the Muhammad, Al bin Ahmedian, like that. Yeah. So we'll pick up the British naval tradition where they dropped it in the water. All right. Everything we just learned about the Trump class battleship program. Let's see. I'm gonna read this first paragraph and then I'll get your kind of initial thoughts and I'm gonna skim some stuff because I don't want to read the whole damn thing here. All right. The Navy's top leadership says that they are working hard to avoid serious issues that have plagued previous shipbuilding efforts when it comes to the Trump-class battleship program. Senior officials have focused in particular on the need to have a very firm design before they work on large surface combatants, the first of which could cost a whopping $17 billion. Actually begins a lack of finalized design along with repeated changes to it along the way contributed heavily to the demise of the Constitution class frigate last year. Let's see. The CNO. The CNO Admiral Daryl Caudell and Secretary of the Navy John Phelan, who was just fired, and Hung Cao is taking over as acting Secretary of the Navy, and shipbuilding was one of the things cited by Donald Trump as the reason why Phelan was on the way out. Let's see, the Trump-class battleship, also known as the BBGX, at separate roundtables on the sidelines of the Navy League's Air, Sea, Sierra Space 2026 exposition this week. President Donald Trump had officially rolled out plans for the Trump class, the first of which is currently set to be named the USS Defiant. Wouldn't that be the Defiant class?
That's how that
battleship
works.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Trump class will be dropped. Trump class will be dropped once Trump's out of office. That's just how that's going to work. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
The English ship is called the Defiance, not the Defiant.
Yeah. All right. Let me just read a little more here, and then I'll turn it over to you guys for comment. I think the necessary element to the force, and I think it provides real flexibility to the force, says Secretary Phelan. From the Navy, from what the Navy has shared thus far, the Trump-class warship will displace approximately 35,000 tons, which is roughly 3 times that of the new Flight 3 subvariant of the Arleigh Burke. They'll be between 840 and 880 feet long, have a beam at the widest point between 105 and 115 feet. Will able to reach a top speed greater than 30 knots. The armament of each of the ships will include a mix of nuclear and conventional missiles, including hypersonic types loaded with large vertical launch systems. They will also have an electromagnetic railgun and a pair of traditional 5-inch naval guns, laser-directed energy weapon, and various additional weapons for close-in defense. All right, gentlemen, first thoughts. We got this kind of boss picture here. If you want to, with some of the capabilities highlighted, if you want to blow this up.
Okay.
Joe, what's your kind of initial take on this?
I think that getting rid of the battleships was one of the gravest mistakes in naval history. We should have kept them. They have a use. And listen, when a couple of frigates appear and a destroyer appear off your coast, that's one thing. It's another thing when the Missouri or the Iowa rolled up, right, and had those great big guns. Ask Lebanon how that went. And I really like the idea of it. I just don't know that anyone's ever going to follow through because we keep going for smaller and more ELINT capable or electronic capable ships as opposed to kinetic strikers. I really would like to see this happen, but if it doesn't have a Marine complement of at least 200, I'm out. Just because there's a tradition of Marines and battleships, right? The first U.S. Navy had Marines on every ship, but good thing if it actually comes through. But I want to point out that Heimdall has the best idea. The USS Rhodesia, but at the top you put USS Zimbabwe and you X out Zimbabwe and you handwrite Rhodesia underneath it. Perfect.
I know.
The only problem with that, Joe, is if you print Zimbabwe on anything, somebody's going to fuck it up, and so I think you just go with
We say Zimbabwe now, don't we? Do we?
I noticed something about this that I haven't heard commented on. So it's keyed up to be able to go 30 plus knots, which means we will finally have an escort class ship that will be able to keep up with our carriers going at full speed, which has been something that is just retarded, just unbelievably retarded. To have carriers that are literally the fastest thing in the fleet that have to be slowed down significantly by their escort fleet, which goes, I think, 12 to 14 knots, depending on sea state, slower than the carrier. Smart. I hope it actually gets done.
Well, I don't know that this is meant to be an escort for a carrier, right? This actually may be.
I don't know that it's meant to be that way, but if we actually needed to use it.
Yeah, well, so right, it could because it's going to have the AG system on it. It's going to have a robust anti-air system, all that kind of stuff, all the stuff that you would have on an Arleigh Burke or something like that. But I think it's
a switch from a coffee can to some sort of a smaller soup.
Yeah, I realized that when I reset.
Okay, all right.
Cool.
Well, Joe, isn't it the Bellawood? Isn't that the headquarters ship that what they can use as
the Blue Ridge?
Blue Ridge, thank you. Yeah, Bellawood. That's a amphib, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. I get those two confused sometimes. Anyway, point is my understanding is there's going to be like spaces for kind of battle control, and so like, you know, like flagship kind of stuff
So
on
the
here.
Blue Ridge and the Mount Whitney are the two we have. I've been on both. Pretty good ships, but a little small, a little tight.
Little tight.
128.
Yeah, a little tight for sure. Let me kind of go through some of the other high points of this article. Let's see. The first ship's estimated to be 17 billion, which is an early figure, could subject to change with the design and economy of scale. FY 2027 budget plans order the first at least 3 ships in FY 28 with a $43.5 million projected budget for those 3 ships over 5 years. The keel laying is targeted for 2028, but actual construction likely slips into the early 2030s to allow for thorough design work. Navy already talking to 2 vendors. The design is still in the early stages. Navy leadership is emphasizing avoiding past mistakes, e.g. the Constellation class, Ford carrier, LCS, by requiring a very mature design before cutting steel. And they're calling very mature 80% plus complete. Heavy use of existing tech from Arleigh Burke. See, this is, I think, something that's key, right? They try to like make some new ships, so we have to do new systems. No, take the systems that work right now with our most advanced current ships and port those over into this larger form factor, right? Propulsion, conventional gas turbines with for now, but nuclear considered but deemed unlikely due to cost and complexity. I honestly think, especially with the push for small modular reactors.
Yeah, I don't see how this gets away without being nuclear. It's stupid.
I think nuclear would make a lot of sense, especially if you were to kind of potentially use some of the components from some of the other,
especially with the power production requirements for a railgun and Odin lasers.
Yep.
You really need that.
Operational concept intended to provide major firepower and flexibility, potentially operating more independently, e.g. park it off Venezuela to relieve pressure on DDGs. Concepts include integration of battleship strike groups or alongside carrier strike groups with ongoing work on theater-specific roles. Challenges noted in the design: many key technologies, railgun, high-power lasers are still maturing despite renewed testing. High cost and complexity compared to carriers, and focus on locking in the design early to prevent cost schedule overruns. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is one of those kind of things that can be done. The problem is they just have to have discipline, and that's been the biggest problem with almost every other naval kerfuffle in the last 20 years. Is this just the discipline hasn't been there. And too many compromises were brought in, you know. You have to have a single vision for something like this and ram it through. So it's a fucking good looking ship, if you look at these models. Now, these are all concepts and not the final thing, of course, but I do like a sexy looking ship. I will admit. Joe, did you when you were in your model building phase as a young man, did you ever do like World War II battleships?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, yeah. And you know what? We actually have some here still in the box. So
I had a
for veterans actually model builder.
Yeah. I had a New Jersey model, and the cool thing about it was you could either make it like New Jersey from like 1945, the World War II version, or you could make it as the kind of the modern, end of the era, like early 90s version of the New Jersey, with all the missiles and things like that. It had different, there were different components and things like that, so it was a cool kit, but. Yeah, ships are cool. Anything else on this, guys? You wanna bring up, or any thoughts?
It's cool. I hope it makes it. Time will tell.
I think we all agree that we should have it. We just, these are really, really.
We've said before that it's actually the exact kind of ship you need to, maintain a naval blockade.
Yeah.
Two things. Earl Corgi is right. There's nothing in the specifications that mention tampon dispensers or gender-neutral bathrooms.
Oh, it's true.
You need to fix that. And Billy Blogs, this is what happens when you get here late. It's that battleship. Yeah, man. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Welcome, Billy.
Yeah. I mean, this is a tool of future conflict, if you will.
But let's keep in mind, this is a defense project, and Steve is 100% right. It'll get canceled after they waste $12 billion on design.
Yeah.
Then it'll get canceled.
Or worse, they'll design it, they'll send it off to a shipyard in which they'll give it far too little time to actually build it and far too little budget, so the shipyard will use foreign trade labor. It will have missing and poor and shoddy welds throughout the entire thing, and then we'll deploy it, and it'll be a huge laughing stock, and then we'll get sworn off of battleships forever. I sure as hell hope that's not the case, but if the last two classes of ships we tried to launch are any indication, that is literally exactly what's going to happen. Still cheaper than California high-speed rail. Show me the lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point by Popcorn Power. What are the ship's pronouns? I don't want to assume. We may have to stop calling ships her and she, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a fact-finding mission.
It's just her.
Yeah. How dare you misgender that poor ship?
Heimdall, listen here. The Zumwalt was silly. The Zumwalt was silly and almost as silly as the LCS. So.
Well, listen. All this talk of government programs wasting money and gone awry and going over the budget and taking far too long, it's really got me bummed out. And you know what? I need to fix that. And I think our next story will fix that by giving us somehow the one story of the exact opposite happening. Right, Scott?
Well, I mean, that's I love this one. So sometimes, okay, how is this future conflict? Well, somebody is going to figure out a way to have a problem with this. That's how it's going to be future conflict. But this is, it's like from time to time we give him, we give Trump the business because let's be honest, Trump is his own worst enemy a lot of times. That being said, sometimes he has good moments and sometimes he has great moments. And I think this is the kind of thing, if everything is as he says it is here, this is a great moment for him and explains why government is fucking terrible at its job.
I thought I'd bring up a subject of interest. I do a lot of this as president and try and save money. And one was the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool, which everybody knows. That's where Martin Luther King made his great speech and where others have likewise made great speeches and great events held there. It's very famous. It was built in 1922 and it's more than 2,000 feet long. It's 167 feet wide. It's very big. That's like taller than any skyscraper, 2,000 feet. And here's a picture of it. You probably recognize it. Right now, it's got no water in it because it was in terrible shape. It was filthy, dirty, and it leaked like a sieve for many years. So I actually went with Secret Service and a group of people, and I took a look at it. One of the people with me was Doug Burgum, our great Secretary of the Interior. This comes under his purview, and he said, yes, we've had a lot of problems with it. It's not working. It hasn't worked for many years, and it's always filthy dirty. And I said, well, we're going to solve the problem. And they had bids to fix it. They were going to take the stone out, which was granite, very expensive, very thick, and replace it with stone. And it was going to cost $300 million. And it was going to take maybe more than 3 years. And I said, no, there's a better way of doing it. I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to call all three of these people that have worked for me in the past doing swimming pools. That's all they can do is a swimming pool. And I said, give me a good price. We can do it for maybe $1.5 million to $2 million as opposed to $300 million. We scrubbed the surface of the existing granite that's been there since 1922. We then grouted all of the granite, fixed it up, took about 2 weeks, and now we have a nice clean surface on which we're putting a industrial grade swimming pool topping. And they said, "What color would you like, sir?" It's called American flag blue. I said, "That's the color I want. I want American flag blue. It'll last for 40 or 50 years. There'll be no leaks. There'll be no anything. It'll look gorgeous, beautiful." So it's a story in business. And here's the difference, because somebody said, "Well, sir, but wouldn't it be a better job?" I said, no. This is a much better job for much less money. It will look far more beautiful than it did in 1922 when they built it, much more beautiful. So we build it in much less time for much less money. But I don't mean...
Hey, welcome, Blaine. Just saw that you arrived.
Gentlemen.
Thanks for having me.
Blaine, we were just looking at Trump's efforts to save the U.S. government money by only getting people who are experts in pools and things like that to...
Question from the chat: is this AI real? It's real, but it is a cut down 3-minute version of what was a 15-minute somewhat rambling speech about it.
Yeah.
So that's why it kind of cuts in weird places.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Oh,
Anyway, so I was presenting this as sometimes Donald Trump's is his own worst enemy, but sometimes he shows the reason why we need a guy like him in office versus a politician. You know, a politician would be like, "Oh, 300 million, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and do it." A guy like Donald Trump says, "This is bullshit. I know we could do this for less."
Speaking of American industrial greatness, I just opened my Monster can. Arms titanium spike. So I'm just saying.
Scott, we do have that forethought and end if you want it, the palate cleanser.
Yes. Well, before we go into that, Blaine, how you doing, brother?
I'm all right. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Southern Poverty Law Center is providing me a lot of welcome material.
Well, between that and your house actually sitting astride 3 separate congressional districts now.
Yeah. It's weird living behind enemy lines the way I do, but the fight continues.
Well, the thing that kills me is that literally the Nova area is literally sliced into 5 separate congressional districts. I've never seen anything like it's the most I'm just speechless on the whole thing.
I wasn't. I voiced a lot of venom at the vicious vagina from Virginia. Abigail Spanberger.
Oh, the absolute liar who said no, there are no plans to redistrict, and then as soon as she gets elected, yes, we're absolutely going to redistrict.
By the way, it's proof that the VA is going to kill you, whether it's the nation or you.
Yeah.
So
right.
Before we move on, I have to say that I'm shocked that the CIA plants took over the CIA. The state that the CIA is based out of, and then made it into a democratic only state.
Right.
This is unprecedented.
I want to point out that everyone has had a misconception of the Virginia state motto that is on the flag. Everyone thought it said, "Thus always to tyrants." It actually says, "Thus always tyrants."
That's
a slight misconception.
That's exactly right. What's new in your life, Blaine?
I'm working on several books, and that's it. I mean, honestly, I'm just keeping busy.
I feel like every time I hear news out of Virginia that they're literally using the prequel. They're trying to write your prequel trilogy for Blue Dawn for you. I think.
It's amazing. We had one of the members of our House this week talk about he knows all about rural Virginia because he watched the Waltons and the Dukes of Hazzard.
Wow.
Oh, I saw that. I couldn't
And you know,
believe that.
that's literally what we're up against at this point. There's a level of retardation that, frankly, the state has never fully witnessed.
I mean, this is the largest kind of bald-faced disenfranchisement operations I think I've ever seen before, and they're not even hiding what it is.
Second only to this one right here, if you can identify that flag.
Rhodesian.
Yeah, there you go.
They will. They're playing with the wrong people because they're actually breaking up, the entire Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria area. This could easily backfire on them.
Right.
And I don't think they fully comprehend what's going to happen. There's already a state legislature in West Virginia who's going, you know what, we'll just take your counties that don't want to be in Virginia. We'll take them here. And while that's not going to be an easy thing to do because Virginia has to vote on that, you are looking at the first time in my lifetime where you have a state talking about seceding from itself and joining another state.
Well, I mean, the irony is that when you split up that one big block like you do, you really open the opportunity for the more rural section potentially to turn out the low turnout areas, like because urban areas a lot of times will have, especially in by-elections and things like that, you'll have much lower turnout. And all it takes is a really strong turnout effort from one side, especially when it's so close, right? Because they're all of those districts are all like what now 52% districts, right?
Yep.
And so bad weather in Northern Virginia turns the turnout operation, and it could be a nightmare for those people.
I think it could be.
Yes, I have to address the blasphemy in the chat. It is not Greater Idaho. It is the Grand Duchy of Montana and Alberta. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I have finally found a good segue, gentlemen. Speaking of disenfranchisement, did you all see that the last king of Scotland has been removed from his throne?
Yeah, a bad thing has happened. The Kang is dead. The Kang is dead.
We go now live to our.
Before you play this, I'll be right back, guys.
Oh,
I mean, I don't mean he's literally dead, but he's been returned to Africa, which means he will probably be dead.
Yeah, we go now live to our correspondent on the ground.
I think Scott wanted you to wait till he got back, didn't he?
Oh, I thought he was going to try and use this as his getaway and cover while he's gone.
Whatever. Okay.
No. Wait. African tribe leader deported after eviction from Scots Woodland. The fallen kingdom. The last kingdom of the Scots. They're gone. He's been deported. My content. My dreams. My hubris. They're gone. A Ghanaian man who led a self-styled African tribe in the Scottish borders has been deported, the Home Office has confirmed. Kofi Offey, who describes himself as King Atahene, set up camp with two women in a wooded area near Jedburgh last year. They called themselves the Kingdom of Kubala, and a series of attempts were made to evict them from the council-owned estate. They were finally moved from the woodland in October of last year, where they were in the local area, and the Kang himself had to go down to the local co-op to use the public Wi-Fi.
You can't even tell them.
But they've been evicted. They get kicked out, and we never heard anything about what happened to them after they got kicked out, but it looks like we now have an answer.
They're gone. The last king of Scotland has fallen.
He was sadly depressed when he arrived back home and was like not greeted as a returning king. But you know what's ironic is when we first carried this story last year or the year before, one of the two women was actually listed as a missing woman out of Missouri, I believe.
Correct.
And it's an entirely weird thing. There are odd people in the world.
Don't you remember the rural occupation efforts that we had right after BLM? This reminded me of
Black
that.
Hammer.
Right?
They had to be rescued. Yes,
They lasted 48 hours
and grow our own food. No, you're not.
Wait, why does nobody grow food on the mountaintops? I wonder. Indeed.
Why don't you guys go up there and find out?
There's a reason why those mountaintops are dirt cheap, because you can't do anything with them. Although I know one guy who's built his own little personal fob on one. You know who you are, and Hunch and I have been there, and it's a pretty epic spot.
If you want to raise mountain maggots, they're good for that. But that's about it.
I like Larry Correa. He just goes out and buys an entire mountain for himself.
Oh, I just like Larry Correa.
Yeah.
That dude is boss.
He is God's gift to the internet.
Yeah, I've been following him for a while now on X. He's always he's always good for a laugh. But I this is my guilty admission. I've never read one of his books before.
You in my opinion, I'm gonna give you some recommendations after the show, so we don't waste any more time. But there are some really good ones that you would quite like.
Yeah, I've read through like the description, so I feel like it's just one of those kind of things. I just have to dedicate the time to jump into it. But
there's a comedy one. There's a comedy series that I love. It's hilarious. That he just kind of wrote as a side project. That it's great. Alec Baldwin's the president. Arlie Ermey's the SecDef. It's great.
Is this back when Baldwin wasn't so cucked out?
I don't. Different Alex Baldwin. I'm talking about the one from Firefly.
Oh, you're talking about like the actual
Adam.
The character.
Adam Baldwin. Thank you,
Adam Baldwin. Okay, there we go.
There's too many Baldwins.
He's not actually a brother; he's a cousin. So,
okay. Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com?
I always do. We're having our worst month ever in book sales, so maybe buy a book. Help a kid continue to stay at camp. Buy a book. Anyway, you can find them on my website, or you can find them at Amazon. Either way, buy a book somewhere today. Buy it and send it to someone. So good stuff. We've also updated the training calendar all the way through mountain readiness, plus a couple classes in October. Y'all are pulling a great rug pull on me, because I was told by a lot of you that you would be coming to October, and not one person has registered. So, but what I did add in was some combatives class. I had a lot of classes, a lot of requests for combatives. So there are a few more in there, and it's all good stuff. We're going to have Fieldcraft coming up this weekend, followed by combatives, and I mean, not field combatives, community security apps, but we're running all of those classes around mountain readiness so that you can try to get into something. And we're doing a lot of basic pistol classes here in the Valley for locals. I've got a lot of 1 and 2 day courses to try and drive more traffic. If you happen to be in the area, come and sign up for something. But listen, you don't have to just come here for a class. We offer camping year round at Camp Ponderosa. And if you just want to come and spend hang out a weekend with me, you are welcome to do it. Just give us a shout. And if my name was Blaine L. Pardo, I would seriously consider coming to Mountain Readiness July 24th through the 26th out here. Because you can meet a lot of your fans, sell a lot of books, and hang out with fellow Wargate people. So it's going to be a good time. For everyone else, if you use code WISDOM5 at mountainreadiness.com, you will save 5% on your tickets. And get out here. We've added a few more vendors for Mountain Readiness, and we worked out some bumps in the road that have been going on, but it's going to be a great event, and we would love to have you all out here.
Yeah, Derna just mentioned this, and I don't think I've ever thought of as El Pardo. The Pardo.
See,
Pardo. Did Mark, speaking of Wargate authors, did Mark ever, kind of like give us the high sign that he'd be able to make it, or is he still on the fence?
I have not heard back, but he was pretty sure that was going to go down.
Good deal.
So probably not then.
Yeah,
Watcher, you're supposed to be.
It's better than an angry American. I'll be there, but not quite as solid as a watcher. I'll be there.
Well, I sent angry American
4 hours late with a car that's barely running because it broke down 3 times on the way, but he will still get there.
I will.
I sent Avery American a DM a couple weeks ago about my retirement and stuff like that, and I asked if he was going to be there. He said, "Yeah, all right, good to see you there." I was like, "Okay." He didn't say I'm coming. He said, "See you there," like as if like it's a foregone conclusion.
As long as we're here and we're talking about Wargate authors, there is a certain somebody who is in the chat right now who's about to have their first published book through Wargate come out, and is as I understand it, he is currently in the same process Blaine is in, where someone has read his book and he has to listen to it. Our own Your Arctic Boy.
Yeah. Hey, you Arctic Boy, remember, you're going to need to bring different ear pro if you're going to come out here. So I don't allow cat ears on the range. So,
well, okay. No. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to clear this up. So to be fair, no, the car made it there fine. The problem was leaving the headlights on to,
we had to go get a new battery. It made it here fine.
I had to go get a new battery because I left the headlights on to set up the tent in the dark. So,
and by the way, because it's the internet and God knows who's watching, we don't actually allow Canadians to shoot here ever.
That would be a bad idea.
No, the Arctic Boy, make jokes, but see what happens when you try to show up wearing some sort of ear.
Yeah. Or a tail. Let's clarify.
or it's anything furry related, not going to happen on the range. Or you become a target. One or the other. Whatever. Oh, that's great. How did Watcher end up getting my 96 Camry from Bragg?
New Cap Warriors in the range. Fuentes is out.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the brush beater ad.
FPIQ. Right. I've seen Canadians shoot there, bro. Ixnay. They're shooting the forbidden AK.
No, you didn't.
That never happened. No, you didn't. You didn't see nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Those are not real Canadians.
I was gonna say Canadians and Americans look exactly the same.
They
just
play Americans on
you didn't see their passports before they started shooting, and right. I didn't check them.
They just play Canadians on TV.
All right, let's do the brush beater ad. All right, in the midst of the resurging Iran war, with ceasefire collapsing, fresh threats in the Strait of Hormuz, and the escalating tensions pulling the region back into open conflict, the home front here in America is being torn apart by surging domestic violence, driven by racial and urban chaos. Sometimes some might argue those are the exact same things, just two different words for the same thing. Record levels of homicide, aggravated assault, robbery, and flash mob crime continue to ravage major cities, turning streets into war zones and leaving law-abiding citizens to fend for themselves. 911, don't bet the cops are showing up anytime soon. When the cell networks fail, get jammed, or simply can't be trusted amidst the violence, you need real communications you control. Brush Beater Store has you covered with the RT950 Pro, a high-performance handheld radio featuring built-in spectrum analyzer to scan frequencies, detect unusual activity like an early warning system. It delivers wide multi-band coverage, including CB and ham, GPS for coordination, and strong transmission power to keep your family group or neighborhood securely linked when everything else goes dark. Back it with the RTO 3-day course, intensive field-proven training that teaches you how to create SOIs from scratch, manage frequencies under pressure, run secure group comms, and operate effectively in high-threat or austere environments. This turns capable gear into a real operational strength when racial and urban violence spirals out of control. Get the RT 950 Pro and build your net at brushbeater.store/collection/handheld-radio-HT. Enroll in the RTO course at brushbeater.store/collection/training. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all radios, accessories, and courses. Orders over $100 ship for free. Big thanks to Matt at Brushbeater Store for powering the Council of Future Conflict as Iran war reignites and domestic racial urban violence tears through American cities. Head to brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and build the connected, capable security presence your community needs. Now, back to the show.
Well, wait, I do want to say I've got the book.
Yeah.
And I got the gear now.
Nice.
Hey, nice. Hey, that reminds me, June 12th through the 14th, RTO course right here. Come on out.
Joe, my wife is planning 4 trips for me during the summer, so everything is dependent on me finding a hole in that schedule.
Well, seriously, that book is your way to understand that. And if you want to understand spectrum analyzers, the Guerrilla's Guide to Signals Intelligence will do it. Let me give a SIGINT tip for you all, too. If you have any radio with a GPS capability, whether it's a DMR radio, whether it's the RT950 Pro, or the new AR152 Pro, turn off the ability for someone to pull your radio for its location.
Yeah, the metadata.
Because there's an option on here where you can send your location to someone, but they can also pull your radio and find out where it is. So there's a group out there doing SIGINT against you. They hear your radio signal. They can send a signal to your radio, and unless you have it turned off, your radio will send a signal back to them without you knowing it. Turn that feature off.
All right. Anything else before we jump into our main topic for the day, gentlemen?
I'm just going to say you're welcome to Cast Iron Skillet. You're welcome.
All right. All right. So this is the short version. We'll kind of get into the CENTCOM official announcement here in a second. So the aircraft carrier, the George H.W. Bush CVN-77, has arrived in the CENTCOM AOR. This brings the total number of U.S. aircraft carriers deployed to the region to 3. Guys, have we ever had 3 in the region at one time?
Yeah, but only when really bad things were happening to people.
I think back in the 80s, back in the Beirut stuff, there were 3 in the CENTCOM AOR. And I think maybe during...
We have 3 during Mantis?
Desert Shield and Desert Storm, I think, had it.
Yes, they did. But famously, Operation Just Cause in Panama utilized 0 aircraft carriers. Probably because we already had like 9 bases in country.
Well, yeah, so, I was going to say, yeah.
And our unit launched from Rodman Naval Air, so
when your aircraft carrier is the continental United States, they're not really needed. All right, so that's 3 in the area. That's the Abraham Lincoln, the Gerald Ford, and the H.W. Bush. Let's see. So that's the kind of the opening thing. Go to the next one, Watcher. This is this actual CENTCOM graphic. So this is where you've got a kind of a last time 3 carriers operated in CENTCOM was 2003. This is a total of 15,000 sailors and Marines. You've got over 200 aircraft between the 3 aircraft carriers. Sea power of all 3 carrier strike groups is 12 ships, 2 Nimitz class carriers, 1 Ford class carrier. You've got the Spruance, the Michael Murphy, the Donald Cook, the Mahan, the Winston S. Churchill, the Frank E. Peterson, the USS Mason, Ross, and Bainbridge. Those are all.
That Greyhound is on there, and it's giving me flashbacks. Those of you who have never been in a Greyhound,
C2, yeah,
the seats are facing backwards, and it's not the most aerodynamic aircraft, so it bounces, right? And you go from 200 miles an hour to 0 in a couple hundred feet, facing backwards. It is not a fun aircraft to land or take off in when landing on a carrier.
I was really surprised when they announced that they're going to replace the C2 with the Osprey.
Yeah, that would be a better platform for that, and I wouldn't have to sit backwards and get yanked in my seat.
I'm not going to bring up your comment and blow up your spot, but I see you, Juan. Hat tip.
Full CFC vibe in effect this morning.
By the way, Juan, thank you for the package that arrived yesterday. I've been enjoying them. Thank you. So.
Yeah, I was feeling the effects of my lack of caffeine, and I had to break out my my unsponsored sponsored segment of the day.
Kang energy.
That's right. Well, no, I'm not using the Korean ones. This is a good old fashioned American low carb Monster light blue can. Rather than the King energy that the Korean ones.
American.
Oh, there you go. That's all right. It's almost the same thing. By the way, as D something points out in the chat, I'd like to remind everyone that the Gerald Ford is apparently now a submarine because the Iranians and the Yemenis both claim to have sunk it, yet it's still moving. So it's apparently a submarine now.
It's the Yorktown. All over again.
Can you guys confirm to me? I just saw Blaine's Mountain Dew, and it made me think about this. Is Baja Blast still available in cans now? Is that wasn't a limited time thing?
Yes.
No, it is.
Okay. Yes.
He's thinking about soju. That's what he's thinking about.
Yes,
I am literally thinking about that exactly right. Oh, by the way, Joe, you would love it. I saw a soju bottle tonight at the grocery store, and the great thing about it is my daughter pointed it out to me. It's literally this big, like a 2-liter soju bottle, and it was It was about $5.
Oh wow! I'm buying 6 of them.
That's trouble.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pack maybe a couple of those, and so we get 2. We're allowed 2 suitcases per person, right? Yeah. When we fly back. So I think on one of those suitcases, I'm gonna have some
You check the amounts that you're allowed to bring in, just to be safe.
Didn't I bring in a whole case of them like last time?
Yeah, I suppose. Despite us making fun of Hunch for it the first time he came out here, I did buy some huckleberry and lemon vodka. Y'all, that's good. I'm just saying. I'm not a vodka drinker, but that was pretty good.
Not at 10:23 in the morning.
Well, no, not right now. I mean, when you come out here to visit.
Well, let me ask you this: how many times has the Gerald Ford tripped on its way out to the Middle East when it deployed? That's what I want to know, because Gerald Ford was never known as the most graceful president that we ever had.
The accidental president, the only president that was never elected.
Yeah.
Well, I would argue Biden kind of falls into that camp.
Well played.
That's true. That
true. Wasn't an accident, though. That was very deliberate.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. What do we got next? Okay. Yeah. Can I just say, if there's any Formula One fans, this guy looks like to me well, no, in the chat. I know you're not a Formula One fan, Joe. Come on.
Look, if I want to watch cars drive around in a circle, I mean,
I'd go the American.
Well, that's just
route.
it. That Formula One wouldn't be the thing because they use road courses.
It tells you exactly how much I know about it.
That's right. This guy looks like Max Verstappen with one of those Groucho Marx noses on his face. This next IRGC official here. All right. Listen to this monster's confession. For months, the regime. Go ahead and put it up, Watch. The regime apologists lied to the world, claiming that the massacre of Iranian civilians in January was the work of the Mossad, CIA agents. Now hear the truth directly from the source. Reza Radan, the regime's brutal police chief, just officially referred to the slaughter of thousands of Iranians as urban war and a second war. Worse, he openly stated that he takes pride in shedding their blood. The regime in Iran is not a government. They are occupying terrorists, forced waging a war. So this last part is kind of like superfluous, right? We already know this. I mean, and these people are clearly occupying their own nation against the will of the people. The problem is that the people are just so cowed. They have yet to show the ability to rise up against them.
That dude,
Say again, Joe.
It looks like he works for Patrick at AutoZone.
This is his manager.
I think he went to an army surplus store and just bought whatever was in the ribbon bin.
Yeah, this guy. I love these fantastical kind of murals showing some sort of like idyllic Persian backdrop, and they're animated, so it looks like it might be real. But listen, nobody fucking believes it.
If we had more men like him, we'd have less men like him.
Well, so one of the things that I've heard is that the U.S. forces have not targeted any of the Iraqi or Afghan forces that have been brought in. So apparently, a lot of the Persian-speaking Afghans, almost I guess almost 500,000 have fled the Taliban, came in when the Afghanistan collapsed, and then they were brought in. They got trained and were used by the Iranians, and then they got kicked out like after the bombings last year because they were being accused of spying for the Israelis. And now they're bringing a bunch of them back in to help with internal security, right? But according to the reports, they haven't been targeted at all by Western powers or the Israelis. So there's a lot of speculation going on like Bashid's Telegram chats or things like that are basically saying, why aren't they attacking the other foreign forces that are helping us secure? And people are speculating that they're just basically waiting on the word before they can, be used against the internal security forces. So it's kind of like, they're going to pit each side against each other. I don't think that they're under the control of the Israelis, but that would be fucking devious if they were literally using that psychological, like they're hitting us, but they're not hitting them. Why? Maybe they're working with the Israelis, and then all of a sudden they're shooting at each other.
Yeah, some problems will just solve themselves.
Some problems will just solve themselves. That's exactly right. Joe, what's your kind of take on what you've seen of what's going on inside Iran during this kind of lull in the fighting? It's been a real kind of like criminology kind of thing from what I could see. And I don't understand the regime enough to be able to handicap the race.
I think that what's going on in Iran is really hard to understand because they only let out the information they want to let out.
Yeah.
So something has gone on there, but I'm not sure what. The problem is that the IRGC has such an iron fist control over everyday life and every aspect of it that it's really hard to gauge what's going on. In the meantime, they continue to launch attacks on neutral shipping. India is actually neutral in this conflict. So attacks on neutral shipping generally mean that you're the bad guy. And I don't know what's going on in there. Something bad is. But as I pointed out several times, and about more than just Iran, whoever has the ability to wrest control from the Ayatollah and the IRGC might not be our friend. It might actually be worse than what we have now.
Yeah, I get the feeling that if the pragmatists could have kind of taken over or overthrown the IRGC or split the IRGC up into kind of different factions, I think they would have done it already. I think the IRGC is in control, and they're basically have a, if the pragmatists have either thrown their lot in with the IRGC or they've got a gun to the back of their head. And so it's like, literally, you're either with us or you're in the fucking whole ground. Okay, I'm with you. They make it pretty easy for them.
The whole thing reminds me of that movie, The Death of Stalin. Everybody is, I think it's utter chaos over there right now. Everybody thinks they're in control. When they had their spokesperson come out the other day and go, we don't have groups of fanatics. We're all crazy batshit fanatics.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not winning people over with that kind of shit.
Well, the funny thing, I love when you're on and I'm able to tie something back into one of your books. I hope I'm driving traffic, but
ironically, he can post most things that are happening in the world back to his books.
Well, that's the great thing about his books. There's always something that,
whether it's aliens or the left, whatever.
Yeah. Well, so I know, right? They're talking about the aliens underwater
Chinese
now.
spies at universities. I don't know.
I'm just waiting for the crossover universe where it turns out that the aliens are funding the left.
I'm telling you, he references the FedGov in both books. I'm just saying. Anyway,
and that reminds me of when we did any on-site research or memory refreshing. Mrs. Tactical Wisdom is back in Ann Arbor, so she can help you out.
Sorry. I'm sorry she's there, John.
I know. Yeah, that was her decision. So
in your Blue Dawn series, like you make it pretty clear, especially in the last few books, that the FedGov is basically eating itself from the inside, right?
Absolutely.
And anytime you have a authoritarian, low trust kind of group of self-interested people who, they are generally aligned, but they have different things that they want and competing. And you saw this inside of Hitler's inner circle. You referred to the death of Stalin. That movie absolutely kind of showed how everybody loved Stalin until he was gone, and then it was like it was a free for all going, to distance themselves. Who can run the furthest from him? And I think you might be seeing that in real time with Iran right now. It'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, I've never seen a group of future Uber drivers be so fucked up, but they managed to pull it off. It's hard to, you want to have a little bit of pity because there are innocent people in that country. But after 30 or 40 years of being told death to America, you're kind of like, you kind of earned this by letting this happen. So, it's chaos. I think what you're going to be looking at, honestly, is very similar to Syria. I think you're going to see a collapse.
Yeah.
And nobody really be in control for years at a time. You remove the military capability to project yourself militarily. What are they? They're just an oppressive regime that goes after its own people. Sooner or later, that backfires.
So evidently, this is something. So this is the kind of thing that makes me think that even if they're unified and the IRGC has locked down the inner control of what's going on, even they still are out to fucking lunch as far as what their objectives should be and who they're going to go after, right? So this is Iranian State TV map just shared, map marking 8 Gulf energy targets that Iran threatens to hit if the U.S. Israel start striking again. The UAE and Das Island, Zirku Island, Qatar, Ras Laffan, Raskas, Saudi Arabia, Abqai, Safani, and Kurasai, and Kuwait and the Bergen. These are literally all the people. They're trying to piss everybody in the region off And that is the exact way you basically get your neighbors to tell the U.S., listen, we got this. Look, we're going to fix this fucking problem one way or the other. Now, the only thing that Iran has going for them, if that's the case, is that fucking Arabs are famously terrible soldiers. I mean, just reference any war they've been involved in.
Yeah, like the Battle of what was the one that was before the invasion? Khafji.
Khafji, yeah.
Marines did the vast majority of the fighting in that battle, despite having a whole Saudi brigade to back them up. The 6-man LAR team did all the fighting. So,
well, I mean, just if you study the Iran-Iraq war, I mean, that's literally two Down syndrome bum fighters, is what that was.
I always equated it to midget wrestling, but I like your version better.
With some gas thrown in.
And then,
like
and
a couple of retards trying to hump a doorknob. Sorry.
If you want to throw in like something a little more kind of culturally relevant, you could throw in the drones at the homeless people. That was kind of the U.S. kind of just watching the whole thing go on.
Crackheads versus drones. Great.
Yeah.
Great channel.
That's something that I was introduced to when I went to the G camp. So shout out to Matt for opening my eyes to that.
Matt was like, "Wait, you haven't seen this? Hold up!" and put it on the screen.
yeah. We did a pause on the conversation so we could. Of course, my callback was to bum fights, right? Because that was the original degeneracy. But yeah.
Man,
yes. Anyway,
let's just pour one out for Live Leak real quick before we move on.
No, what are you talking about? Pour one out for Ogrish, man. That was the original. That's what Live Leak used to be before it turned into Live Leak.
Yeah, facts.
All right. Just before we move off of this one, Blaine, what's your kind of take on the whole? Well, we can't hit the U.S., so we're going to blow the shit out of the Gulf states.
It's stupid, but you're dealing with people that they realize now they can't do shit against the United States, despite what they've been telling everybody, that they've whipped us into submission, forced us to the bargaining table, blah, blah, blah. If they want to attack their neighbors in hope of, hey, we're going to drive up oil prices, and if we can't sell oil, no one can sell oil type shit. These people don't like them anyway. So, you're just going to make it worse for yourself. And there's going to be a point if they decide to go play that game, and I'm not saying that they're smart enough to avoid it, but if they want to go play that game, the next level of this is, okay, game on, everything is leveled. It's, you guys have proven you can't be trustworthy, that you can't function among normal countries. Boom, you're toast. And that's going to be it. These countries will join in. Do you think for 1 minute that the Saudis don't want to fly over and bomb some Iranian targets? I guarantee you they do.
Well, I think I don't know if this was a rumor or if this was an announcement, but early on the Saudis are basically saying, no, U.S., don't stop. We'll actually pay for you to continue. We'll help, pay for your bill.
But that's the Saudi Arabians in their superiority, right? I'd rather American boys die than Saudi boys.
Well, sure. I mean, it's just one of those kind of things that if we're going to do it anyway, I would never want. Okay, well, we weren't going to attack, but because Saudi Arabia is willing to to pay for our attacks, then we'll go do it. That's terrible. That is a zero. That should never happen. That being said, if we're going to do it anyway, if they're willing to pay for it, we'll take their money as long as we are not. As long as it all goes back to the purpose, right, Joe? Like if we're doing it for our purpose that we've articulated, then that makes sense, no matter who pays for it. But if we start like being a mercenary for the Saudis or the Kuwaitis or Qatar or whatever, that's where that's that goes against our national interest. Ultimately,
This will probably surprise you, but on the basis of my principles, no. I would not take anybody else's money to kill others. If I'm going to kill you, it's because I'm doing it because it's my own choice.
But if what they do if they attack these ports, they're going to be handing over a ton of justification for these countries to strike back big time.
Well, and I think they will, right? I think that I think you're going to see Saudi Arabia actually get off the bench this time because they weren't involved in any offensive or even defensive strikes within Iran previously. And I think you're going to start seeing, and about the only part of the Saudi military, I think, that is worth being able to take part would be some of their Air Force folks. But even that, I don't know.
I would like to, on principle, see a legit Saudi strike on Iran. It would prove to the rest of the Arab world that Saudi Arabia is the leader to follow. But they won't do it.
And that they're actually in the game.
Yeah.
The other thing that's in play here is the economic side of this.
Yeah.
They
won't
require
an Arab solidarity standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Which is not the right way to go.
You're saying, Blaine?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
think right now, honestly, the biggest thing that's in play right now, and Trump is milking it, is you're not getting any oil sales. And your entire economy is based on a constant flow of oil. So the longer this goes, the closer you get to a complete economic collapse.
Well,
if you remember back in Syria, that was a key component of what happened in Syria when they devolved into their collapse. There's a certain point where the economy can't support itself. And the IRGC is all big and tough, but when they don't have any money and they don't have any income, you can use your guns to get food, but only for so long.
All right, let's move on to this next one here. So this was one of the other kind of recent announcements. After firing chief negotiator Mohammed Baghir Ghalibaf, the IRGC chief said Iran will continue enriching uranium, pursue its long-range missile program, and continue the war until the last U.S. soldier remains in the Middle East. He refused to engage in any peace talks. I mean, I think what they're doing is ultimately they're signing their own death warrants with this. And the problem is you always got to be willing to have some sort of a negotiated settlement, right? Because if not, then you're basically betting that we'll get tired of fighting before we run out. Is
he saying they're going to fight the last Persian? Okay.
Yeah,
I accept.
Your terms are agreeable.
That's exactly.
So two things. One, I'm almost positive that's actually Sean Connery. And two, did they take this other guy's photo on Ash Wednesday, or did a warhead bounce off of his forehead? I'm not really.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because the AI clip just below it, Watcher, if you'll pull that link back up. I'm not going to say it's supposed to be a bullet. No, it's not this one.
Yeah.
Go further down. There you go. I'm not saying it's a bullet hole, and maybe it's some other kind of a hole.
Wow.
God, I love AI.
All right, Lost Core 23 for $10 over in the Rumble chat says, "Gooding CFC, I'm struggling to get into the political headspace because I'm too excited that the board or the Broad Street bullies are kicking ass."
I don't know what that means.
I'm lost, guys.
I'm either good for you or sorry that this is happening. I'm not sure.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations.
I mean,
Street.
a hockey.
It's a hockey team.
Yeah.
Oh.
What is it? The Philadelphia Flyers. Okay.
Two things. There's only one sport worth watching, and that's hockey. And two, if it's not the Red Wings, it's not hockey. So there you go.
Well, I disagree with the Joe's opinion, but sports ball is not an appropriate part of future content.
I have I watched a hockey game in close to your hometown in Nashville, but it was
we had a the Blackhawks were in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the NHL team. Yeah, so we had the Ice Hawks in Louisville when I was in high school. They were the minor league team. And the cool thing about minor league hockey is it's essentially one step away from professional wrestling because the fights are amped up over the NHL.
Well, they're all trying to get noticed by the big teams, right? And I maintained in Detroit, I maintained a season ticket to the Plymouth Whalers forever. Or what did they change to? The Storm, because they were part of the Hurricanes for a while. But I maintained that for a long time.
Anyway, in high school, we used to go watch it. But
I know how to exit this. Cervix Hammer has the only appropriate opinion. Women's beach volleyball is the only sport worth watching. Next.
Fair. Well, that's fair. That is.
Yeah, I'm going to give him that one.
Yeah, I think that's a valid opinion.
But I'm also opposed to pornography, so.
Well, Joe just doesn't like it when they wear thongs, is what he's saying.
No,
that's
Joe
a little.
did not say that. I didn't say a thing about
it. That's just taking it too far. All right. Oh my God! Did you guys see the thing Hung Kao said about the SPLC? Did you guys see this thing?
No.
He said when he gets his hood issued to him, he wants them to have slanted eye holes versus round eye holes. So
he's hilarious, man.
That's pretty good.
Oh my God! All right, moving on. All right.
Cervix Hammer, you're not in the Rumble chat. So you have been given props in the Rumble chat from Derna. Cervix Hammer has crossed the Rhine with a single division. It's over.
You know, Cervix Hammer, I will never discourage you from chatting anywhere you want to chat. That being said, I feel like you
are more of a Rumble chatter.
Rumble energy. Yeah, you have more Rumble energy.
Better fit in Rumble. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to like censor yourself probably as much as you have to. I'm not saying you have to switch, but if you were to switch,
that'd be the place for you.
That would be the place to go. All right. Next one up. Iran foreign minister expected in Islamabad, but will not meet with U.S. side as U.S. is prepared to attack mine-laying boats. Now, I guess both Trump and Hegseth has said they're going to go after everything basically floating. Like the dinghy with a guy with an AK in it is now. Now, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know they weren't hitting those beforehand.
I don't know why we haven't sunk the IRGC Navy. I don't know.
I'm sick of making new accounts. I feel you, brother.
I feel that on a deep spiritual level.
This is why the Devil's Cross, the A-10, was created.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Well, the other thing I've heard about this is somebody was like, "Oh, we can't escort them. We don't have enough ships." You wouldn't be using ships. You'd be using helicopters and A-10s.
Well, right. The Apache is literally, I think, the perfect platform to go after these. Like the Apache and the Marine Cobras.
Marine Cobra, man.
Joe, I imagine I guess the problem with the Marine Cobras is if they're on the amphibs are probably further off than whereas the Apaches are actually land-based, just on actually throughout. But you could put the Cobras in there too. So
yeah, but you're assuming that the maps and stuff we've been shown are accurate. Guys, I don't think that's
retired
as to where ships are poised.
The Cobra's been retired since 2020, guys.
For the record, the Sea Cobra is a more advanced version of the Cobra. It's a legit airframe, but it does not have long legs, like Scott mentioned. It does not go.
Yeah. That I was going to say the problem is the ships have to kind of stand off a little further, and that just makes it a little harder. That being said, the Apaches are in theater and have been noted to be doing this. In
the only thing with less air defenses than an aircraft carrier is an amphib. So
yeah, apparently, guys, hate to say this, but Cobra's gone. I'll be outside. Now it's the AH1 or AH1Z Viper.
Yeah, but in the
Watcher,
you refer to it as the
if
Cobra.
Watcher, I just want to you want to talk about some future conflict here. So if you go in the dictionary and look up the word pedantic, you'll now see a picture of Watcher. If you ever wanted to know what a Watcher looked like, it's right next to that word, because unless you don't understand, the Viper is a Cobra with a new name and a Z next to the end of the AH1.
That's not very nice. That's not very nice.
You might be right.
You couldn't talk to Watcher that way.
I didn't look at it. All I did is just fact check it on the Google like I usually do, and then spit out the answer.
See, this is what happened. Michael Tracy has also weighed in and called it a tank.
Yeah, Michael Tracy. It's a flying tank. Juan Cholo raises a good point. The A-29 Super Tucano would also work. And we all know that aerial powerhouse Botswana just ordered 6 Super Tucanos. So,
did you guys see
Mr. Lance says, keep drinking, Scott. You're on the road. I wish I was drinking.
Did you guys see the Ukrainian that was in the backseat of a trainer
there was
aircraft?
a clip from this show. It's Scott right there.
I'm pretty sure that would be short worthy.
Let me find the clip. Hold on.
I still think we're going to make a clip while he's here, of Watcher walking in the woods, looking away like a
We like watch. What kind of costume is he wearing? No, that's him. That's him without any costume.
Oh, we gotta have a shirt specially made for it. You know how Braxton's always talking about the Bigfoot, right?
Right.
We get Watcher a shirt that says, "Where's Braxton?" with Braxton's face on it. Anyway.
All right.
Watcher's not diagnosed, but we're pretty sure.
You guys know we like funny AI videos here, because let's be honest, if you're gonna laugh, you might as well laugh at your future AI overlords. Sometimes you have things that are funny that have nothing to do with AI, and this next
shoot. Okay,
got something else up.
Yeah, no, I wanted to do this because I didn't think anybody had seen it, because I asked and you guys didn't say anything. The Ukrainians posted a video of them in a trainer aircraft with a guy with an M4 just shooting shaheeds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so shooting a shaheed from would be fairly easy, because it's flying flat, slow, and and you wouldn't want to, as you can see from the vigorous explosion, you don't want to get too close to those to shoot them.
Can I point something out that I generally have learned not to fire an AR with my finger directly over the barrel? Right. This guy could probably learn from that.
Right.
Well, hey, Joe, let's be honest. Even people with years of combat experience can make regular mistakes if they learn bad habits.
Yeah, but it will end your finger. Whew.
All right. This next one here is, I swear I wish it was AI, but the Iranians provide us with this free of charge without it being AI. Apparently, they're calling up the reserves. Pro IRGC women.
Wait.
Oh God! It's the Rosie O'Donnell Brigade.
No, hold on. Wait.
I thought pig wasn't
this is
illegal.
staged.
For everyone wondering why you can't find a 4X plate carrier anymore, there it is.
Gentlemen, this is staged. This one in the front. Where did we see her? That's right. That was the Venezuelan training video.
Oh my God! It's the entire production staff of The View.
Joe, every one of these women has her finger on the trigger.
Every single woman directly in front of them.
Exactly. Let's flag. You can't tell a woman anything.
This is just their version of the NFAC.
Yeah.
What you don't see is behind them is the IRGC with the guns in their back.
Exactly right.
Pause when I tell you to pause. Play it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Right about there. Pause. Look what's over her shoulder. a PR-24 side handle baton. Great piece of combat gear, a baton. So I wonder what these women are actually for. If you're carrying a PR-24 side handle baton, you are law enforcement. They're all carrying them.
Yeah, I would imagine that these are either IRGC, like, the civil basically social enforcement, or
that's why they have the
besieged.
batons on their back. Yeah.
Right, exactly right. Durna 2 for $5 says, "Gentlemen, I present to you the argument for combat roles."
Look, this is why I have no pity when somebody says, "But what about the innocent people in Iran that are getting killed?" Yeah, these are the innocent people in Iran.
No,
sorry.
sir. These women cannot take my women's pistol class. You cannot wear a burqa or cat ears on my range.
I like the expensive sunglasses, though.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Jay Clark kills me. No, Whoopi, no.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Blaine. I mean, clearly the ladies up front are the well-paid ones, because they all have like Gucci sunglasses on. But
Right.
the second row, not as much. Not as much.
You know how, like, American police, when they're raiding a building, they carry a ballistic shield?
Yeah.
These are ballistic shields.
These are ballistic.
Like if the Kardashians went to war.
We have automated the ballistic shield.
So anyway, be afraid, gentlemen. Be very afraid. This is what gentlemen, I introduced to you the bottom of the barrel, literally. Okay.
The second row doesn't need sunglasses. The front row blocks out the sun.
The thing is about that picture, and I'm just going to say it, you can smell it.
Oh,
Yeah, you can smell that
Oh.
video.
There's an aroma coming from that.
There's a mixture of shawarma garlic and body odor, and it's gross.
Yeah.
ooh, the next one's gone.
Yeah,
Watcher.
it is gone. I'm trying to find
I'm-
somebody else.
Yeah, me too.
I'll tell you what it was though. So hey, I don't know if you guys
Hold
saw
on a
this.
sec. Hold a second. I found it. So let's. It looks like the exact same post, just a different account. I'm putting in the private chat here. I feel bad. Jim asked for the link earlier, but
Oh,
I
shoot,
never heard
missed
back
it.
from him.
It's okay. Shoot, it's there.
No, I gave it. I gave it to him way back in the beginning of the show when he asked, but
It's there right above where he asked to. Let me go and give it to him directly.
I did that too. Joe, if you want to give him a text and let him know that he's got the link if he wants.
I shall. Right after I do the other thing I forgot to do.
Oh, I'm curious to see what your rhyme
I
incorporates
know.
today. I forgot all about that too. I didn't share it either. So, all right. So, if you weren't tracking, actually, Watcher, can you find the video first, and then then it's kind of like that way we got shot
I
and
actually
chaser.
just had that. Let me find it. Where is it? Gosh dang it! I've got pictures. Hold on, I just had it in my feed. I was searching for it, so I kind of found it.
Okay, so Reza Pahlavi, he's the son of the Shah of Iran. He's now the kind of the crown prince of Iran, and the kind of the leader of the pro-Western opposition to the Iranian, the mullahs in Iran. So he was in. I think this is this London?
Berlin.
So he was in Berlin, and he was attacked with a can of soup, evidently, like a tomato sauce or something like that. And so this this fine, upstanding citizen is the culprit, evidently. And when you read his name, it is not. He's not a disinterested person. He is. Let's see. Let me get back to the link now that I got rid of it. His name is Pedram Hossein Manfarid, the person who threw the can at the clown. He is a son of an IRGC elite person, or he is related to his family is related to the IRGC. Interesting kind of connection there. We're allowing these fucking terrorists to, and this is not some random Iranian terrorist, right? This is literally the heir to some oligarch, Iranian IRGC oligarch family, getting educated, living in the West. And this is not the first time we've seen these types of people. By the way, Reza Pahlavi, I give him credit. He just basically just kind of like totally played off his security was freaking out and everything, but he continued to wave and he continued to kind of walk slowly and, stay poised during this whole thing. So
his security fell for the classic, we're in a safe zone so we can relax thing.
Exactly right.
Bad idea.
But it was in Germany, so they're never really fully relaxed.
Well, actually, yeah, if you're Iranian, because you've got a lot of people there, so to speak. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, this is pretty interesting. So I'm sure we'll see more. We're going to end up seeing more of this type of thing where these IRGC brats. We saw one female IRGC daughter, heiress, or whatever.
Are we not going to show this?
Yeah, no. I was just waiting for him to pull it up.
No country for old mullahs.
No country for. I mean, there is clearly a phenotype for these types of people who are antisocial, and it goes back to the caveman days. I'm just waiting for his Geico commercial to come out.
Hey, Patrick, it's good to see you in the chat. I gave you props for your Pidgin English verse memorization. So that's going above and beyond, right? So.
All right. So before we share this, Watcher, let's set it up a little bit here. So the next one is we're referring to Europe and the feckless allies of ours in Europe. The thing that we've noticed is that they're all about telling us what to do, but once we ask them to help us, they're like, "Oh, help you? Fuck no, we're not doing that." Even when it's, "Oh, you mean help you protect the oil that's coming to us that doesn't go to you?" No, we wouldn't want to do that. We wouldn't want to actually fight for our own interests. That's Europe, right? So what the fuck are we even doing there? So listen to Marco Rubio kind of. I think this is giving you a good insight as to where the administration's head is right now.
When we need them to allow us to use their military, their answer is no. Then why are we in NATO? You have to ask that question. Why do we have billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars over the years, trillions of dollars, and all these American forces stationed in the region? If we can only use, in our time of need, we're not going to be allowed to use those bases. So I think there's no doubt, unfortunately, after this conflict is concluded, we are going to have to re-examine that relationship. We're going to have to re-examine the value of NATO and that alliance for our country. Ultimately, that's a decision for the president to make, and he'll have to make it. We're going to finish the job here. As I said, we're very, very close to achieving our objectives on all of these things that I've outlined. But I do think, unfortunately, we are going to have to re-examine whether or not this alliance that has served this country well for a while is still serving that purpose, or is it now become a one-way street where America is simply in a position to defend Europe, but when we need the help of our allies, they're going to deny us basing rights and they're going to deny us overflight? I think these are very legitimate questions that we need to be asking, and this are going to have to be very carefully examined after this conflict is.
It's almost like you have to ask yourselves, are they even our allies?
No, they want to keep you around to protect them. It's like police in the big city, right? Nobody wants them around until they need them, but they do want them around when they need them. Exact same thing here.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Boy,
Blaine,
and
what's your-
if you look at it beyond the basing issue, and you start to look at the way that they've been literally trying to change our laws via lawfare and go after our own private citizens for not even violating our own laws, violating their laws on U.S. soil, it really starts to make you wonder. Sorry, did I forget to mention funding literal leftist terrorist organizations that have been caught trying to assassinate law enforcement officers? I could go on all day, actually. Yeah, it really starts to make you wonder. Stretches the definition of ally somewhat, doesn't it?
Well, here's the funny thing, right? If we were to pull out of NATO, NATO couldn't exist, right? Like I've said on this show a long time.
Plans, Scott. They got big plans.
Anybody who's been listening to the show for a while knows Joe. I think this was like one of my first hey, there he is. There's old Hong Kong.
Just who we want to talk about this topic, actually.
Yeah, because we have questions, old Hong Kong. We're talking about the situation of the Strait of Hormuz and why Europe might want to be motivated to get off the fucking bench and take an interest in what the fuck's going on down here.
I bet if you called it the Day of Hormuz, they would. Anyway,
so you're talking about the guys that wear pastel colors like Blaine.
Blaine's like, what are you talking about?
Hey, good morning, Blaine. Yeah, they don't have any distillates. They don't have any petrol or diesel. They don't have natural gas. And they allowed themselves to be lulled into having a single point of failure on their supply chain. So I would say they would be highly motivated to get their ass in gear. I think the French got some strange fantasy that they were going to go fix Lebanon, and they lost a officer and an enlisted man in that fantasy somehow, probably trying to negotiate with Hezbollah. So yeah, they're beginning to play piecemeal games. I mean, the Belgians are talking about sending their mine hunter, and the Dutch may do so. And it would be nice if they actually shut up and did something for themselves. It just reiterates the position of the Trump Department of War, which is these guys are a clown show, and it's sad.
The sad thing,
they were both legionnaires too, though. So France has the Foreign Legion for a reason, right? For when they're not willing to expend French blood, they'll expend others' blood.
Right? Yeah, I actually think that there was a dalliance in his mind that he could throw France back into Lebanon and show some capability. Yeah. And I think Hezbollah put a stop to that in a nanosecond by doing this because the game is heavy. It's a heavy game. And the only people in the region who have the capacity to deal with southern Lebanon are the Israelis. And the Israelis have zero incentive to not crush Hezbollah now. They are going to Hamas Hezbollah. And we'll see what happens going forward. Not pretty, though, for the folks who call southern Lebanon home.
I'll point out that in our famous losses in Lebanon in 1983, France also lost 58 because their barracks were also struck. So
yeah,
everyone likes to make fun of France. Let's give them credit where credit is due. Right?
Absolutely, they have a dog in this fight. It's been their area. They were the people who backed out as we came in, but they have a real tight tie with the Lebanese. Always have. And it's actually the failure of Lebanon is a horrible, horrible tragedy from the standpoint of beautiful places and good people. And the world let it happen. And not only let it happen, they left it there to fester, which is another observation of the shift in this Trump policy vis-a-vis the Middle East. We're not going to allow it to sit and fester just because it always has.
Well, Lebanon and Cuba have two kind of striking parallel kind of situations, right? There are two places that should absolutely be making money, like printing money hand over fist because of the natural beauty and the location, but it is entirely stymied by the political realities of on the ground. And oddly enough, controlled by a very small number of people, and the regular people of both of those countries would love to just be nothing more than tourist hotspots. But of course, that is not what happens.
Well, that's the target of the Trump White House, right? We go find these countries that are being squeezed by their local communists slash totalitarian slash narcotraficantes slash 12er crazy Shia cult people, and we clear them out and offer them a chance to actually be a normal country and run themselves. And if they can pick up the banner and run with us, cool. If they can't pick up the banner and run with us, okay, right? Venezuela looks like it's going to run. Cuba, we'll see. Iran, boy, I wish there were some Iranians with some fortitude to pick the banners up and begin whacking the Basij and IRGC guys. But they've got pretty tight control over the country. I'm very disappointed that the foreign intelligence activities haven't had a incumbent government that they were ready to shove in. So, on the CIA front, on the other players, whether it's the Israelis, the British, or the French, nobody seems to have the magic man, as we used to call it. So let's see what happens. Hopefully, the magic man will self-identify and won't be an IRGC or Basij thug.
Well, this kind of goes back to the point I was making before you came on. We were talking about NATO's involvement in what's going on over here in the Strait, right? So Europe relies heavily on oil exports and energy exports in general from this region, specifically through the Straits of Hormuz. Macron, everybody's favorite, I don't know, ventriloquist doll, because somebody's fucking hand is up his ass telling him what to do. Suggested we're going to put together a European effort, and we're going to go in and we're going to make the Straits of Hormuz safe. Well, first of all, they couldn't do it if they wanted to, with nobody else there. But unfortunately, we're already there, and we wouldn't let them in unless they, operated under a tight coalition kind of operation with the U.S. But guess what? Most of those countries have done that before. So what I think you're going to see is, as this situation continues, and ultimately it doesn't hurt America really. If anything, it helps us. And we're able to kind of, endure this kind of pain a lot longer than they'll be able to. I think what you're going to see, you mentioned Belgium and you mentioned Holland that have assets that could be potentially useful. I think they're going to approach the U.S. individually on a unilateral basis and offer assistance to the U.S. efforts in the Straits of Hormuz. And, let's assume this continues to go on 2 months from now. We'll probably have 3 or 4 European powers attached to the naval task force, willing to help out with American efforts to secure the Straits of Hormuz. And Macron will be sitting there fucking checking out grandma and deciding whether or not she is in fact a man or a woman.
Well, as the boiling Straits of Hormuz turn to fine little champagne bubbles, you'll see the Europeans arrive.
Yeah, exactly right.
Look, they've had 60 days to get there anyway.
They're like,
they haven't showed up yet. Okay,
I agree with Blaine. I think that they're sitting back hopeful that Trump fails. That they've fallen into that category of Trump's basically written Europe off in his head as a peer ally. EU can't get out of its own way. Each of the independent countries isn't big enough to be consequential. I mean, there's some like Poland and Finland that have made really good efforts at national defense, but as a group, it's really hard for Europe to deal with Trump changing the globalist guarantees, right? The globalist guarantees were status quo, really, really flimsy just-in-time inventorying and supply chains, all the stuff that we talked about 20 years ago. They're still addicted to it. And what Trump saw is that there would be a long degradation of the West if he didn't step in and break things. He stepped in and broke that paradigm. He was willing to take the personal risk on that paradigm. The left in this country is saying he's putting us all at risk, but what he's actually doing is building a viable long-term strategy for the United States, which we haven't had in 30 or 40 years. It's all been status quo. It's all been don't rock the boat.
Just very briefly, I did find a picture of the current European meeting trying to decide what they're going to do about the strait. Huh.
I thought it was going to be the Star Wars bar scene.
Well, yeah, honestly, though, if you look at it, what Trump's done is Europe has handed him on a silver platter justification for cutting funds to NATO in half, if not more.
Oh, absolutely.
And he can point to that. And since we're always supposed to be looking to future conflicts, if I was Argentina right now, I'd be eyeing the Falklands like you wouldn't believe, because it's like, you know what? They can't even move a carrier into the Mediterranean right now.
Yeah, I mean, while I don't think that Argentina has any right to the Falklands, I think the people have determined that they don't want to be Argentina. That being said, it's this kind of feckless weakness that invites that kind of predatory behavior.
That's exactly what happened the first time.
Yeah,
exactly right. But the first time the Brits were able to basically kind of, oh, well, really? And they showed up, right? And it was a tough few days, but they were able to kind of exert their will, but because that was at the height of the Cold War.
Right.
They are not the Britain of 1982.
Well, actually, what's funny is the Argentinians overestimated. If they had just sat back, they would have been given the Falklands.
Yeah.
UK was going to do that, but they underestimated Margaret Thatcher, and she was like, "Nah, man, we finna fight."
Farmers know Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Well, so right. Yeah, the UK, the military of the UK at the time was the right military, and Margaret Thatcher was the right leader to respond to that. And so, she made that happen. So anyway,
the globe, this is going to happen. This is Joe's philosophy of World War III, is a lot of small wars. Mm-hmm. This is going to happen because Europe has proved itself to be completely impotent. I mean, they should be doing erectile dysfunction medicine ads with a NATO banner on them. It's just, they're nothing. They're nothing without us. And they keep going, well, we could form an EU army. We could form an EU force. You're playing right into Trump's hands. Good, go do it. You defend yourselves.
Yeah.
So the EU is committed to spend 500 billion euro. They are struggling to figure out how to spend the first 100 billion, right? And it's been 2 years that they've been talking about spending. They're not designed as a defense platform. They are supposed to not be the defense platform for Europe. So they've taken on this functional finance role for defense. They got to figure out a way to put money to work, and they can't get out of their own way.
Well, point out to that exact point, the Hellenic Navy, Greece's Navy, has done more to defend the British base on Cyprus than the British have.
Hard facts.
Yeah.
Was that Herculon? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is embarrassing, but you see, the funny thing is you've got responsible militaries like the Greeks. So the Greeks have always maintained a fairly good military because of their concerns about the Turks, and the Turks for the same reason, right?
Well, and there's a couple of them who are responsible, but I think that the policy going forward has to be that we no longer negotiate with Europe as a bloc ever. We just negotiate with individual countries.
Yeah. It's almost like the Greeks and the Turks have been fighting for thousands of years, Jim.
I know.
Almost.
Well, I mean, how many times have we had to narrowly avoid a war between Turkey and Greece, all the while we're trying to shepherd this NATO flock?
So, gents, I want to keep this conversation going, but we do have a quick clip from Hegseth about basically the exact same thing that he issued basically while we were putting the notes together. I figured I'd play that real quick.
All right.
To the regime in Tehran, the blockade is tightening by the hour.
Is this the right clip?
Hold on. Let me just point out, we already impregnated 13 women with the Vietnam photo. Now you're going to get them all worked up again.
Hold on, let me make sure. We have a lot of Hegseth clips today, so let me make sure this is the right one.
And remember I think the Hegseth clip you're talking about was the one that was deleted.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
This is another one. I put this one in there. So if you want to just go ahead, it's from the same speech. So let's see what Hegseth has to say.
We are in control. Nothing in, nothing out.
Oh yeah.
Iran's
this one.
Battered military, the IRGC specifically, has been reduced to a gang of pirates with a flag. They cloak their aggression in slogans, but the world now sees them for what they are: criminals on the high seas. They don't control anything. They're acting like pirates, acting like terrorists. They're the ones who lay indiscriminate mines, who shoot at random ships, who killed 45,000 of their own people, innocent protesters in the course of weeks. Their own people. They are the bad actors. The vessels that the Iranians seized in recent days, a couple of them, they're not American ships. They're not Israeli ships. They're just random ships that drove where they drove their little speedboats up to and shot at those ships with AK-47s. Anyone with a speedboat, a gun, and the wrong intentions can do that. They know that we, the United States of America, control the flow of global shipping. And we know that they know. Their real navy is at the bottom of the Arabian Gulf.
But do we know that they know that they know?
That we know.
Right. But I would hardly call the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz the high seas. The high seas would be the Atlantic and the Pacific and the Indian Ocean.
But you made a good point. I mean, while I think he is using hyperbole in his speech here, meaning not literal truth, when one of the things that he says is not one thing in and not one thing out, right? Which opens him up to, well, we got a fucking dinghy through, so you were fucking wrong, or something. You know what I mean, Joe? I mean, it's
going to give him the next Lego video right there.
right. He's gonna end. You're gonna end up in a Lego video. You better watch it, Hegseth.
See this purple dhow right here that can hold exactly 4 guys? That ship got through.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next clip. Are we into the Trump corner yet? I think that's Trump corner now, are we? Yeah. So Trump had he had several bangers come out. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. So guys, before we play this one, I want to set this one up. All right. One of the special operations soldiers involved in the raid on Maduro bet on Polymarket, I think like $30,000 on Polymarket on his team being the victors coming out of that. And he ended up clearing a $400,000 win on Polymarket because of this. Now, this is an absolute egregious OPSEC violation. That being said, Representative Anna Paulina did a really good job of saying, listen, we should prosecute this guy because he has been arrested and he is being prosecuted by the DOJ. We should prosecute this guy only after we've gone after all the members of Congress who are using insider information that they get through their assignments in their committees in order to make millions on the stock market. Then once we've done that, then we can maybe go after this guy.
Wait, Anna Meinhofer is right. Good point.
Apparently, there was a special forces soldier who was involved in the capture of Venezuelan President Maduro, who was arrested by federal authorities today on suspicion of insider trading and betting on Polymarket. Are you concerned that federal employees are betting on these prediction markets and potentially getting rich?
Well, I don't know about it, but was he betting that they would get him or they wouldn't get him?
It sounds like he was betting on his removal from office, that Maduro would be removed.
Well, that's
interesting. Like he was involved in the operation.
That's like Pete Rose betting on his own team. It's a little like Pete Rose. Pete Rose, they kept him out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team. Now, if he bet against his team, that would be no good, but he bet on his own team. I'll look into it. Yeah.
Mr. President, apparently there was.
All right, so he has famously been really hard on leakers, and I think you should do that. That being said, let me get old Hong Kong. Why don't you weigh in on this first? What say you on the potential outcome for this young man?
I can't hear any of these videos. So.
Well, basically, he the situation that I explained. She asked him about it. He said, he bet on his.
Okay, so the poly market deal.
Yeah.
So, bad idea. Silly young guy, smart though. Turned 30 grand into 400 grand. So I understand the motivation, but I think it's technically illegal. Not even playing with the OPSEC stuff.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, the information itself would not be necessarily OPSEC because, if you bet $5 on it, then you're one person betting $5 amongst a sea of 5 people betting $5. The problem is you go in as a whale. And you go all in because you fucking know exactly what's getting ready to happen, Yeah,
and it's the same kind of problem with Vegas, right? If you come in and you're card counting or doing those other things that they don't like, they'll ask you to leave. This is the same thing. This is a distortive act. I don't think they should, put the guy in Leavenworth for 20 years, but maybe not let him take the money.
Yeah,
he gets a slap on the wrist.
I think put it this way, it's a terrible overreach to go after the kid really aggressively. Well, he's probably not a kid. He's an E7 or something. But it sucks. But this is the kind of thing you should think about before you do.
Yeah. Joe, Jim is always so hopeful.
Well,
he's not very hopeful for this kid. What's your take, Joe? You're a little more ground focused.
Joe's prosecuted people for less.
Yeah, I actually, this is actually dumb. This does meet the definition of insider trading.
Yeah.
But listen, ask yourself this: would it have been better if he called a cousin and had his cousin place the bet? And they split the money? I mean, legally, he would have been better off, but he still shared that information. We expect a higher standard from the folks who do these kind of missions. And I honestly think he probably should have thought this one through and said, nah, man, I'm just going to do the right thing for the right reason.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There's a bigger issue here that it makes the rest of the U.S. military look bad.
Yeah, so people don't join the military to get rich, right? People don't do what we do because we've got some dollar signs in our eyes, right? In point of fact, it's kind of like becoming a priest, right? It's like you can guarantee you'll never make it, unless you're one of these generals who gets one of these cush,
right?
Jobs after they stop being a general. But that's another fucking story. The point is that I guess where I'm coming from is that should he do it? No. Should he keep the money? No. That being said, I also don't think that he should go down on a federal felony beef for this.
Sure.
I hope the president basically makes a big deal about this, but then pardons the kid.
I think you should give him a job at Treasury because he showed initiative.
Initiative, right?
Yeah,
good initiative, poor judgment.
Well, so between an Article 15 and the naval brig in Charleston, Joe, where do you think he ends up?
He's going to get a felony conviction out of this. They're gonna
and it could be jail time.
Crime was not strictly military related. They're going to charge him in an open federal court.
Ouch.
I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, they can catch this small of an amount, but they can't catch senators because of the." It's about transaction volume. When you do this kind of shit in a teeny tiny market like a betting market, it's really easy to spot. And hey, wouldn't you know it, the FBI is currently looking into that exact betting market because of people doing this exact kind of shit. Probably not.
Federal thresholds are generally around $250,000. And he hit it. So you probably want to keep things under $200,000 if you want to avoid federal scrutiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if he had placed $100 bet because he knew, so he could pocket maybe a couple $1,000, he probably would have been fine. But that's not what he did.
Well, that, and let's be honest about how this probably came to the FBI's attention. I'm almost positive. This is probably because they've got an AI pointed at the betting markets, trying to figure out people doing exactly this kind of shit.
Absolutely. So this is Polymarket. This is Polymarket and observational coming in and saying, "Wow, that's anomalous."
Well, right. And
I said something to somebody too, though. Hey guys, check out what I did.
That's true. We are talking about an enlisted man here. Hold on a minute.
Well, the other side of it too is that the Polymarket. What people don't realize is Polymarket. You can see the order book. It's kind of like the stock market. Like you can see all the open trades, right? And you can see how much money is going what way on a given issue. So, you can see where the sharps are on any given issue and where the whales are kind of pointing their stacks at too. So, all right, let's move on to our next.
I'll say this is one thing that I said yesterday too. NBA players do this every single day and don't really get in trouble for it. So,
what's the lesson? What's the lesson to this senior enlisted communications specialist? Is it that he should run for the Senate before he does this, or what?
Yes.
What is the lesson to the young SOCOM guys out there listening?
Yeah, the lesson is don't talk to people about these things. No, actually, the lesson is honor your service and don't turn it into a money-making opportunity.
And if you want to make a lot of money, run for the Senate. Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
I'm telling you, Circus Hammer. I mean, it's one more account, but I'm telling you, over on Rumble, these would hit a lot differently.
He really thought he could pay off that Dodge Charger he bought outside of Benning at 29.5% interest, but not now.
And his exotic dancer girlfriend just loves it.
Yeah.
So my best bet as well was it wasn't the Kentucky Derby. It was on the Oaks, but it was an exacta. Pretty nice, pretty sweet.
Well, we got another Trump clip up next.
Yep. Let's see what else Trump's had to say here.
For what they sent to Iran?
No.
So there's some reporting today.
No. I guess we do the same thing, don't we? With other countries. It's like one of those things, but nothing it wasn't earth shaking. Yeah.
All right. So if you couldn't hear him, he basically asked, what do you think about China sending stuff to Iran? And Trump basically said, well, we do it to other countries. So, I mean, it's kind of like you can't, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Just one of those
and
things.
he's, of course, referring to Taiwan. We are loading up with weapons. I'm sure that boat of Taiwan will get wobbly and tip over with all the missiles.
Highly likely. And what's funny is these are the same people who would not make the same argument about just the absolute flow of weapons flowing into Ukraine from all over.
Fact.
Well, that's okay. But China supplying Iran? Oh, no. Hey, guess what? Nations pick sides. Just how it works.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. Trump realizes that, like, if something is in our interest, we can do it. And if something's in China's interest, they can do it. It's their right to act within their interest.
Their exact argument could be made by Vladimir Putin against us with Ukraine, right?
Yeah,
100%.
They don't think these things through, or they think everything that we do or everything that Ukraine does is good and everything Iran does is bad. That's not true on the Ukrainian side.
See, but you totally forget the old hurdle thing, which is if they're godless heathens, then right, that's been taken out of the nomenclature. So
yeah, but where was their indignation before the war?
Yeah,
they didn't care. They didn't care who was supplying Iran. It didn't matter. Now it's like, hey, whoa, what are you going to do about this? You weren't paying attention beforehand. So
that was the the whole quid pro quo, right? Which is, yeah, don't rock the boat, man.
I think the trap they wanted him to fall into was to get really upset and criticize China over this, and he did it.
And he's too smart to do it.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know, the machine. So the way I see this Department of War / Trump NSC policy is, they know where the bad bearings were in the global machine, and they've gone out and forced the failure of every one of those bearings, and they're trying to replace them. And it's got everybody all worked up because there was a lot of money to be made in those subpar bearings, right? Everybody dealt with them in a different way. And it created a gray market for narcotics, energy, and weapons that was not transparent and uncontrollable. And I think the Trump people said, this is going to get worse. It's a good time just to stop it. And it was a highly targeted play on a strategic level. You take out these 4 locations and bada bing, look where you are. All of a sudden, the economy that is anti-dollar dries up. All of a sudden, your enemy has less access to petroleum and energy. And I see the long game here. And I'm just hoping we've got stick-to-itness on a national level to actually wait for the outcome in Iran before throwing in the towel. I believe Trump does. I think the Senate has their panties in a knot.
I think too that Trump avoided a bigger issue because I guarantee you speechwriters in Beijing and Moscow were leaned in to listen as he answered that question, because they were about to just lay it on him for arming Ukraine if he said, yeah, China shouldn't be arming Iran and neither should Russia. But I also think that Ukrainian bird is going to come home to roost the first time there's an actual real separatist movement in the United States. Russia's going to be there with pallets for them.
Well, what's interesting is the U.S. doesn't need foreign pallets. We're sufficiently prepped domestically.
It'll be ammunition. But
yeah. You know, what's really interesting to me is they understand that the Ukrainian war, there's a reason why the U.S. has stood back a bit. And it's exactly what Joe just talked about. There is a long-term strategic need to understand that war in a different way. It's awful. But when you see Zelensky come out and start berating the United States for a lack of preparedness on the availability of, let's say, the Patriot interceptor count, basically saying, oh, well, Americans, and I'm transliterating, Americans stupid because they're only producing 200 of those a month. 200 of those things a month is a very expensive commitment, right? And we'd been doing it for years.
And by the way, he wants them for free. And
no, exactly. So when I hear that, I don't immediately go, oh, let's put another $1 trillion into Patriot interceptors. What I hear is we need to stop giving them away in the volumes we've been giving them away. And he was criticizing their excess use in the Middle East theater, right? Well, I'm sorry. We're protecting ourselves and our allies in the Middle East theater. I understand you would like them, but perhaps you need to go talk to the British and the Germans and the French about their systems. Well, alors, they can't produce them either. Ha ha ha. So, okay, somebody else needs to step up. And it's slow and it's hard. But they produce the Aster system in Europe. It's pretty good. They've got some good fill-in stuff, but the Europeans have now seen that they can't give them away fast because they don't want to get left holding, right?
The problem for the Europeans is that, like he says, oh, well, they are only making 52 Patriots a month as of last year, right? Well, the problem is that's about the entire annual output of similar style missiles for all of Europe at this point.
Oh no, absolutely. But well, then Europeans, they're right there. I mean, then the question is, have the Europeans spent them all? So every AIM-7, every AIM-9 has been sent to Ukraine by the Europeans, and they're backfilling with their own platforms. The Israelis are short, we're short, and we've upped production. But at the end of the day, is the engagement model in Ukraine sustainable? And the answer is no. And I think the Trump people get that. It's just an unsustainable thing. And it's unsustainable for the Russians.
Yeah, I mean, well, and we can see the way the war's turned out, right? This is not the war. The war in Ukraine right now is not the war that we were reporting on 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
it's a sitzkrieg now, essentially. You know, the lines aren't moving either way. Both have lost way more men than they can afford to lose. Now, that being said, Russia can afford to lose a lot more than Ukraine, but Ukraine has proven that they're scraping the bottom of the barrel too. They're relying on. This is the reason why Ukraine is relying primarily on armed drones.
Yep.
That's the reason why they're doing this. Not because these are a wonder weapon. No, they are a unique system that is hard to defend against if you don't have the technology or the money. But this is the war that they've settled into. It's essentially, it's basically a modern version of World War I at this point.
Yep. And it would be really nice if it would end, because it's a blight on the global economy, and we'll see what happens. I mean, Zelensky's between a rock and a hard place. But the problem is, when you end this, guess what happens? The hands come out for the reconstruction money. Nobody has the reconstruction money.
Yeah, except we're about the only people with the reconstruction.
Well, and they burned off all their goodwill. I mean,
right? Yeah. That's exactly right.
It's a tough pitch, man. This is not going to be an easy transition, and they know that, so they stay at work.
Well, Jim, what were they during the Biden administration? They were kicking around basically $2 trillion recovery kind of slush fund that everybody could rape and pillage from for the next 20 years. That was kind of like what was going around in the back channels, right? Guess what? I have not heard anything along those lines in the last year.
Well, because what happens is, post-conflict, there's animosity, right? There's animosity from Ukraine against the U.S. failure to commit, right? And when you go into the post-conflict thing, there's going to be a trading that plays in that money bag, regardless of where the money bag comes from. And the level of corruption you'll see in the post-conflict redevelopment will be very high, because there are a lot of people who feel they, quote, earned it, right? And so it's the battle of, getting to the front of the line, getting pole position. It always happens, right? You're going to see it around Gaza once they decide to let Gaza go. You're going to see it in Lebanon. And these places are endemically corrupt, right? And fighting that endemic corruption in a non-conflict time is very, very hard. You need transparency and access. And the animosity that's built up during the war period, which is we earned this, right, creates a real morass when you're trying to make the right decisions on a national level reconstruction. So I wish the Ukrainians very well. I don't want to come off as being anti-Ukraine here, because I'm not. I understand what's going on in Ukraine, and I feel awful for them. But there's no way to fix this in a tidy way. When they come back out, they're going to have to be very transparent. And it's just culturally difficult in a place like Ukraine to do this kind of work. And the closer you get to Luhansk and the far east side of the country, the harder it gets, right?
Yeah.
You get better transparency out of the guys in the West than you do in the East. They're just historically different culturally. And so they have to prepare for this post-conflict time, because it's going to be super important for their countries. And that's really where the EU should be coming in, is to help rebuild.
But they're not, and they haven't yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, real quick, at the 2 hour 30-minute mark, our good buddy Blaine El Pardo has got to take off. Blaine, pleasure having you on again. Everybody, check out if you're not following Blaine on X. He is a delight on X. His snark is first class. You've got your what is it? Do you post those on Thursday or is it like Thursday night?
Thursday night.
You do basically like a giant, long post every, of like kind of like the week in snark in the world events and politics. So if you're not checking those out, please do. Anything else you want to tell the folks about before we send you off, Blaine?
No, I'm working on a bunch of books. If you haven't been reading my
Tenure
stuff,
5, is that what you're working on now?
I got Tenure 5 sitting here. I'm working on it. I'm working on the final Blue Dawn book. I'm working on a few things. So,
are you working on your reservations for Glacier International Airport and a rental car?
Don't think that's happening, Joe. I got it.
That's okay. You don't like you hung out with us once. You found out you didn't like it, and
I had a good time. The wife had a better time.
The wife basically said, "Listen, you can't go hang out with them unless I can go too. So we got to find a time that we can both hang out with because those guys are cool."
You got a lot. The wives like that rugged individualism that Joe exudes. It's just
Hey, Blaine, look what I got.
You've been trying it out?
Yeah, I'm gonna be wearing it out this weekend. So it's I already before mine even came in, I tried it out with the speech to text thing on my phone. Not a super great speech to text, but I wrote like a 2,500 word thing in like an hour and a half.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, I was really surprised how fast I was able to knock something out. So
Listen, before you go, I have to read you what Cervix Hammer just put in the chat. Joe is making Camp Ponderosa clothing optional if that sweetens the pot. Now,
that's a good way to really solidify me not
the folks who hang out here, that's not a good plan.
That's not. All right,
the only
guys,
thing
have a good weekend.
Thanks, Blaine. Appreciate you. We'll see you around, brother. The only thing that can make that worse, Joe, is if some of those Iranian women were to show up, those barrel women, those barrel-chested women, with flagging their friends with their fingers on the trigger. That's not the only thing that can make it worse.
Right.
Someone send one of those to Sibley. Yeah. I mean. Yeah, I don't know this if speech to text would work at his favorite coffee shop. It's so fucking loud in there.
Facts.
Listen,
also, look,
hey,
here's the problem.
Too many of you are into this idea of Camp Ponderosa being a nudist colony.
Yeah.
No.
The way it took off, Joe, it says a lot about our chat. It says way more about our chat than it does about us.
Yeah, I'll say one other thing that this whole dictation thing is going to ruin a bunch of authors if it takes off because people like Sibley, those coffee shops they hang out in are leftist shitholes. And so they won't be able to hang out there anymore because then they'll be saying their books out loud and people will all turn and mob them. And
I love how you all are acting like the dictaphone is a new invention. Okay. This is what's old is new again, right? This is not.
It's not the dictaphone, right? It's the step of having to pay somebody to transcribe all of those tapes into like coherent, like pages.
Hear me out. You could do it yourself.
Well, it's time. It's a time saver, is all it is.
Not really, because that's what happens after you use the text to speech.
Gents,
what do you have to do?
Old Hong Kong's gotta take off.
All right, Jim, you got to take off too. We appreciate you, brother.
See, buddy.
Goes down to you guys. Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to still go through and edit it anyway. So you're not really saving that much time. You just think you are, and that's cool. Good for you, but you're really not.
All I'm saying is like I used the shitty one on my phone. And I saved time for me. So I mean, it may not work for everybody, but it worked for me. So that's
you're still thinking about it. You're still expressing that thought, and then you're still getting that thought into a text form. You could just
I'm with you, brother.
On the computer and do it.
No, I'm with you. It either worked. Well, that was the key thing. I did it in a place where I didn't have to do that. So that was the kind of the nice thing. All right. Let's move on to the. So there is a tool you can use to break giant log jams in wars and things like that. And one of the reporters was dumb enough to ask Trump about this. So let's see what he has to say here.
Sir, would you use a nuclear weapon against Iran? You posted on Truth Social
No.
a few weeks ago.
We don't need
That's
it.
not
Why
what
do I
it's
need
about.
it? Why would a stupid question like that be asked?
You posted
Why
on
would I?
Truth
Why would I
Social
use a nuclear weapon when we've totally, in a very conventional way, decimated them without it? No, I wouldn't use it. A nuclear weapon should never be allowed to be used by anybody.
Show me the lie, right? Here's the thing: is everyone has made up this nuclear story out of whole cloth, right? Trump was dragged out of the Situation Room because he wanted to use nukes. No, he wasn't. I assure you that didn't happen. Because if anyone's going to get dragged out of the Situation Room, the president is the very last person that's going to happen. And
Yeah,
so
like
no
then he
one
was locked out. Yeah, the story is what he was like locked out of the Situation Room when key decisions were being made. That's not how it works.
Yeah, no. And they want it to be true so they could say, look, he's crazy, he's going to kill us all. But it's just not true.
No. All right. And so the final one, bonus round on the Trump speech is some extra comments from Marco Rubio. I just want to say that, on one side you got JD Vance, and the other side you got Marco Rubio. So it's like, the crown prince and the other prince, and the spare, the heir and the spare, and which is which, though. That's the big question. Yeah, right here. If you look at the notes, it's highlighted, Watcher.
Oh, sorry. If you were talking to me, I just got back from my internet breaking up there for like a solid 30 seconds. So,
all right. The clip I'm talking about is highlighted
up right now.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Nothing from the U.S. has told them they can't come. I mean, the problem with Iran, it would be not their athletes. It would be some of the other people that would want to bring with them, some of whom have ties to the IRGC. We may not be able to let them in, but not the athletes themselves. But no one's, I don't know where that's coming
He's
from.
referring to the World Cup next year.
They decide not to come, and then Italy would fill their spot. But if they decide not to come on their own, it's because they decided not to come. What they can't bring is a bunch of IRGC terrorists into our country and pretend that they're, journalists and athletic trainers. Nothing from the U.S.
Here.
Well, JD Vance has lost some weight, hasn't he?
Maybe you're just comparing him to the image you've seen of him online.
No, I'm saying he has legitimately lost weight. If you look at the video that we were just on, just kind of look at those, like the last half of the video where he's actually in frame.
Yeah.
All right.
This is that we could all just meet in Djibouti.
Let's check in on the Hezbollah action in the Middle East, tangentially related. So this is what kind of efforts do we have? Candy Graham.
Keep in mind, this is during a ceasefire.
Yeah. So this was, according to the thing, 30 rockets fired from Hezbollah into Israel, and then this was Israel's response.
Over 100 terrorists killed in a retaliatory strike. So,
like, they obliterated the entire hilltop. Not sure exactly which building they're firing from, so
yeah.
Just gave him a whole grid square. Bye-bye.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. All right, let's see this next one here. So, I mean, no, this is not necessarily, this next clip is not necessarily Hezbollah, but it illustrates the problem with people like that tend to be in these organizations. So let's watch how this. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Don't shoot at me.
Let's watch that again, shall we?
He's like, I'm taking my PKM and I'm going home.
I'm out of here. He literally started the
So that guy came up with a PK also, and he almost ran right in front of the guy with the RPK shooting. Watch him. After he almost killed his homies, he's going to run right into the line of fire of the other guy.
What is happening here? You know what? I don't want an explanation.
I'm good for self-deletion of these people. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I mean,
you know
so
what
anyway.
This is that video where they hand the chimp the AK.
The one below it. The one below it. Yeah.
Oh, somebody literally commented that. Okay, hold on. Yeah, there it is. Yep. Yeah.
This is it.
This is it, exactly.
It's the same video.
That's actually from the chimpanzee civil war.
Yeah.
Derna, Leroy Abdullah.
So this is the kind of thing they're finding. So IDF has found a 25-meter deep underground Hezbollah command center inside a clothing store in Lebanon. Massive amount of weapons were found.
Wait, what? I've been assured that this never happens.
Ooh, oh, hey, Joe. I mean,
hey, I just got to say that spiral staircases. I'm a big fan.
Make it a comeback. Yeah.
Little PKM box there.
I don't know though that a spiral staircase in combat is a good idea.
No,
I want
very bad.
I could just slide down it, right?
Very bad. Yeah.
It makes me feel like they already cleared this.
You know what's
sad? It's just more of a show and tell.
I can smell this video.
Oh yeah. It smells like dirt, body odor, and bad decisions.
Piss.
Well, along with some human waste. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. And that mildew, like that wet basement mildew smell.
Yup.
Look at how clean they kept it too.
There's another exit. I wonder if this isn't that place that they blew up, that hilltop. You know what I mean? Like if
yeah, maybe.
That's the reason why that whole hilltop went up, because they packed it full of explosives.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, let's go on to the domestic bliss. We'll do a speed round on segment 2 because we've gone a little long today.
One more thing, guys. If you're in there, think about this. Those guys were probably all eating shawarma too. So that's another smell. While I love a good shawarma, it does have a bit of a smell.
It's just as long as they keep the yogurt, whatever that yogurt mess out of it,
As keeper of the media, I've got to warn you about this next video. Both don't show this to kids, and also you're just prepared to be just absolutely fucking infuriated.
Yeah, I bet most of you have seen this already, but this is essentially what a attempted murder looks like.
Well, there's no essentially to this.
So push pause. Let me read the. So he basically attacked her because she wouldn't give him her phone number. She's a 15-year-old girl. He's 14 years old. And this is in New York City. Go ahead.
Can I point out? Go ahead. Can I point out that this particular cultural group always wears their masks this way, and it defeats the entire purpose of wearing a mask. Anyway, carry on.
Unless he thinks he's trying to obscure his identity, but even then, it doesn't even.
And he would cover his nose.
He's staying right here. Well, no,
and she does the right thing. She walks away. And she dared to tell him to get the fuck away from her. So he's gonna curb stomp her. For that.
She's barely alive, by the way.
Let me remind you all that when you are on the ground, a kick to the head is deadly force.
Well, let me show you something else. Okay. When your arms do this after you get loaded directly under your head on the concrete,
that indicates a cranial injury almost immediately. Yeah.
So yeah, she's she's barely alive now. Joe, there are ways to avoid this. Now she's 15 years old, so there are
just
some
not that
limits.
complicated.
Yeah, there are legal limitations. That being said, I would be rather tried by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah, I have here's my full statement on that.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, here is the Hollywood versus reality. There's a interesting juxtaposition between the characters in this this fiction versus reality comparison. And I'm not going to say it out loud because I know the audience is very smart and can figure it out themselves.
Hey, I bet you I know who funded that movie.
Them Jews.
No, SPLC.
So this is the state of the scholars in America.
Yeah, this is the Harvard Law School and Medical School class of 2030.
Class of 2030. I don't know what's worse: the fact that they are able to basically show these Glock switches all over the place and never not get arrested, not even be investigated by the ATF.
Correct. Right? Meanwhile, if we even hint at buying certain devices or dropping pieces of plastic for our rifle, we will be rated at 4 a.m.
Right. That's exactly right. Maybe Joe, it's because they're worried about the type of people they'll kill. Since they only kill their own kind for the most part, maybe that's the federal government saying nothing of value was ever threatened.
No,
I don't believe it.
Used to actually kill our kind of people. Randy Weaver, my friend.
No, I'm just saying that it's not only the offenders, but it's also the victims. They care about neither of them, is what I guess what I was saying.
No, I just think that they're a protected class. Do whatever they want. Look at the street takeovers. If me, you, and Watcher decided to drag race in the middle of a street, they would come down on us with a SWAT team.
Facts.
Yeah. Unless we told them that we were Hispanic Caucasians versus
that's true.
Non-Hispanic.
I would just shout out that I was a Kang.
I would say "Orale pues," and then wave my Mexican flag and then take off. Oh, okay, never mind. He's probably illegal. We can't even
disregard.
Let's see here. Let's go on to the next. So we'll follow up on the SPLC stuff. So evidently, this guy is like Data Republic did a huge thread on the SPLC stuff. So I recommend, this is like the second post on that thread. Basically, the Charlottesville rally at SPLC birthed an entire $1 billion plus democracy ecosystem. Now, let's be honest. There were plenty of other agencies, organizations, and whatnot that were doing this beforehand. And Mark Andreessen had a great time asking Grok about all the other organizations that do exactly the same thing as this. So SPLC was A, not a unique, B, not the first to do it. That being said, they're the ones that got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. So it'll be interesting. Thus far, right? And so it'll be interesting to see. And then how does Act Blue get involved in this? And if once you start following this money trail, it gets very complicated very quickly. Anyway, so here's what she said
about this guy being a Marine, though. So here we have a Marine who is a federal, and it turns out was an informant for basically the federal government. We could say SPLC all we want, but SPLC is funded by state and federal government anyway. So he was an informant at the center of this. I don't care who he was an informant for, but he was an informant. There were 3 military intelligence Marines in the January 6th event. What does this tell you? That there was probably a significant amount of federal intelligence assets put into place to make these things worse than they were, because it feeds the narrative of domestic violent extremism, which then leads to more funding and more control and more surveillance.
Yeah, the thing that I'm seeing that continuously being referred to is the demand outstripped the supply when it came to domestic violent extremists, and they were doing everything they could to manufacture that. Real quick before we go on, the Lance Corporal veteran for $5 says former CIA agent said the reason the Fed Gov doesn't react to the same things we do is because it probably doesn't threaten their continuity. You're right. So that's kind of what I was getting at. Like when it's blacks killing other blacks, it's kind of like, well, no skin off our chin, right? But when it's guys like us who potentially might disagree with state, local, or federal governments, then that's a direct, kind of threat to their what do you call it? The monopoly on violence, and thus can't be. That's where I was going with that. So thank you for kind of saying that. It helps clarify my point. All right, let's go back to this. 11 federal counts, wire fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. But here's what the SPLC headlines are missing. The indictment describes a paid informant in the leadership chat that planned Unite the Right. The informant helped coordinate transportation to the rally at SPLC's direction. There's one publicly identified organizer whose documented role was transportation coordinator. His Discord posts about running over protesters were made 26 days before Heather Heyer was killed by a car. The indictment says postings were made under the supervision of the SPLC. Charlottesville then became the founding event for a $1 billion political machine. The SPLC installed itself. This was all part of this coordinated effort to get rid of Trump, right? You had to kind of manufacture multiple kind of dilemmas for the Republicans and the Trump administration specifically. And the media was in on this too, because they asked specific questions at specific times. Data Republican goes on to say it's not the confirmed fact that Chesney, who appeared to be encouraging running over protesters, was the SPLC's informant, but that indictment, paragraph 11, describes informant F37, and it matches Chesney. Member of the online leadership chat of the Plan Unite the Right, attended Charlottesville at SPLC's direction, made racist posts under SPL supervision, helped coordinate transportation for events. So anyway, her thread goes on for like 10 more posts, and I think it's really good. So I would highly recommend checking it out. It's good information with a lot of kind of deep lore on this event and some of the things that are coming to light with these indictments. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing here.
Now, this next one I've got a lot of memes for, so just be ready.
Yeah, so this is one of those kind of like, makes you think kind of things. Like, we don't have anything super solid on this. That being said, make of it what you will.
Oh, it's solidifying by the hour, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, like I said, this is the most that I had seen, but at the beginning of the show. So if we've got something new, then that's something new. Multiple woke right podcasters have paused their streams for unknown reason. Candace Owens randomly fled the country. Nick Fuentes has randomly fled the country. Ian Carroll claims he's scared and a victim. Sneeko has paused his streams. Something is up. It's not looking good for them. So yeah, this is interesting. These are all the kind of the anti-Trump right wingers what's this?
Who are all of a sudden out of money, and they decide, I'm going to shut off my podcast for a minute.
Yeah. I gotta, re-examine the landscape, if you will.
Yep.
What's this?
I think I might have a bit of a. This one should have been a clue. I'm just saying, guys. We did.
Kind forces. The veins bulging. For next.
carrying Nazi swastikas and chanting the same exact anti-Semitic bile that was heard in Germany in the early 30s.
That was really well done.
Can I say that this is one of my favorite memes of the day? Putting it in the private chat before we go on to the next thing. It kind of talks about the issue we were mentioning with the whole poly market deal.
Give me just a second.
I think this kind of will hit for each of us. This is Congress watching soldiers get arrested for insider trading. Let them eat cake.
Yeah, somebody said that we didn't mention that during the story. Oh, we did. We mentioned it several times. That Congress seems to get a free pass, and this poor schmuck doesn't.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, before I even played the video that I even outlined that whole thing. So, and I even referenced Anna Paula Luna's. Basically saying that she's claiming that he should be
calling her by that fake name she made up for herself. Her name is Anna Meinhof. So,
I mean, if that's what she wants to call herself, is it a legal name or is it
I
just
want you to refer to me only as Kwame Muhammad.
Hey,
is that your legal name?
That's not her legal name.
I vote Annie from the block.
It is not her legal name.
I think that works well.
Well, that's the name she serves under. That was on the ballot that she got elected to.
I don't know.
I'm not aware of you using Kwame in public. So
I don't care about politicians' professional wrestling names.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. It's like what's his name?
My point is, she got it to play to. She used that name to play to a Latino vote, and she's not Latino. She has some Latino background, but the majority of her background is, let's just say, not Latino.
Which is weird because you would have thought
president of
I was just gonna say it's weird. You would have thought maybe a certain Scheinbaum,
right? You'd have thought she'd have gotten some money out of it, but no.
Anyway, like I said, that kind of stuff doesn't really bother me. I try to focus more on larger global.
My point is the hiding of the Jewish name is what bothers me. If you want to be if you're Jewish, be Jewish. That's who you are. Just don't hide from it. Don't lie about it.
I thought she was Christian, though. Doesn't she profess herself as a Christian?
I don't know. I don't
profess herself. There you have it.
Again, why are we going into professional wrestlers? I mean,
I don't know. I'm more focused on the substance of the thing that we're talking about, which is her coming out early and saying that Congress should be prosecuted for this, which I totally agree with.
Dude, her comments don't match her actions in Congress. I'm just saying. She's like most Congress people. She gives a soundbite really well, doesn't follow through quite so well.
Anyway, I agree with what she said, regardless of what she may be doing that is counter to her comments.
Hold up. Hold on. No, this gets worse. This gets worse. Her original name is Anna Paulina Meyerhofer, but she's had multiple name changes and not for marriages either. Like this is her trying out different ones to see which one's going to stick.
Is she married to somebody named Luna?
No, her grandmother had the last name Luna. Not her. Okay. Her grandmother. She's actually never had the name Luna until she decided to run for office. Now my name is Luna.
So the one before Luna was Gamberski.
right. Which is more in keeping with Meyerhofer. I said Meyerhofer is Meyerhofer, whatever.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. These are just kind of things that I don't like focus on TMZ kind of stuff. That's where this kind of comes off. I don't know. You could say that it invalidates the messenger, but it doesn't invalidate the message, right? And that's what I want to try to focus on. Is and before you even mentioned that, Joe, I had see when you were mentioning the chat, I saw you mention that name in the chat. I was like, who the hell is he talking about?
I had on our show several times.
I swear to God, when you said this in the chat, I had never heard this in my head. So if you said it, I wasn't listening at the time.
So my whole point is this: I'm just a fan of honesty, right? If your name isn't Luna, don't call yourself Luna. Very simple.
Durna wins.
I know. Durna's right. He's a Harper.
At least you picked a stripper name. That's true.
We're not bickering. I'm standing on principle, and Scott's not. It's just how we always are. I say something silly, and they,
it's just a principle that I don't value. Like, if you want to call yourself like, third chair from the left, go for it. I don't give a shit about that. What I care about
but it's a bigger issue than that, because as I pointed out, and as Watcher just showed you, the name change happened before an election. It was an attempt to garner votes.
Yeah.
It's not because she truly wants to honor her Hispanic heritage.
It's like her sixth name.
I got you, but that's not what I'm focusing on. I'm not focusing on her. I'm just using her as a source of somebody in the public eye that's saying what I agree with, right?
And when we have, but that's the problem. When we have someone that I agree with that I'm going to use as a source, we should look at their prior honesty. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no. I don't disagree with that. It's just one of those kind of things. Like, I'm not going to look at this is a surface issue that I'm just not going to like dig that far into. Now that you said this, I'll probably never use her as a source again because, she's just not that reliable if that's the case. I just don't give a shit.
Scott is sleeping on the couch tonight. Yes, thank you. I'm glad people respect my desires. Yeah, Juan Cholo is exactly right. Beto, exactly like Beto. He's like, no, that's what my family used to call me, and everyone else is like, no one's ever called him that in his life.
But let's be honest. Beto also had the distinction of killing people in a DUI? Yeah. So I mean, that kind of like his name. You can only get away with that kind of shit
if you're a Kennedy.
Right. And a lot of those Kennedys use Kennedy as an additional moniker name.
Gives extra credit for the line from Coming to America. Well done, J. Sub. If her mama called her mine Hopper, I don't call her mine Hopper. It's Mayor Hopper. Yes, I had it wrong. So.
All right, we have spent 15 minutes talking about something I hadn't budgeted time for. What was this thing that you sent the Laura Loomer thing?
Oh, it's interesting. Let me pull that up. It's just
all right.
They found out where they're both at.
Talk about people who have interesting backgrounds. Yet we will still source her. She says, "Okay, Laura Loomer." So take this with a grain of salt.
Let's I was just to say, preface it correctly. It's Laura Loomer. This is the rumor mill. This is nothing more than the rumor mill.
Yeah. Disregard Laura Loomer, but yes.
Yeah, well, the fact that Alex Jones is the first comment underneath it, I think, is funny too. So, Scoop, Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes are both in Italy and fled to Italy at the same time without alerting their viewers. What are the odds they would both be in Italy at the same time? Sources tell me Candace Owens flew American Airlines from Charlotte, North Carolina, to a Leonardo da Vinci airport in Rome, Italy. It was apparently Fuentes was in Italy after photos of him in Italy surfaced online. Those two like to pretend they hate each other, but now they are in Italy at the same time.
So look, Italy is a massive nation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's not like they're both in one city, right?
Yeah. So to give the other side of this, Alex Jones says, total bullcrap work. I was trying to get Nick on my show 2 weeks ago, and he said he could not come on until after the 26th of April because he was going on a family vacation. No evidence has been given to show Nick has ever gotten money from the SPLC. Same goes for Candace Owens. Now,
I'm going to add the caveat there.
Boy,
for sure.
That's a tough call. And deciding who's more truthful, Laura Loomer or Alex Jones,
right? That's why I thought it was the right person to show the opposite side.
I'm going to agree with this, but here's what I'm going to say about this, and everybody's spouting this. No evidence has been shown yet, but what we have shown specifically about Nick is that people gave money to the people who springboarded his career.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What's next here? Yeah. So evidently, when you want to do things, you can just do things. Lance Corporal Veteran for $2 says, funny how when the money stops, everyone runs. Yeah. I think there's been a disruption in the money flow around this ecosystem, and has a better likelihood of, or it could just be a fucking coincidence. I hate to say it, not everything is a conspiracy.
But
you stacked that many.
I'm just saying.
Let me say a couple of things that Alex Jones has a miraculous track record of actually being right, despite him blowing them up to ridiculous proportions. And two, Marlene raises a good point. Remember, Alex Jones was the first person to break the SPLC United Right connection in 2017.
Yes, and I will absolutely give him that. That is absolutely true. I will also say this about Alex Jones, though. Alex Jones is accuracy by volume. Nobody remembers all the
I thought you were talking about
Alex
Cervix
Jones
Hammer
does.
that you're saying is absolutely right.
Oh. Anyway, so Alex Jones is the definition of accuracy by volume. The guy,
Joe, I think Watch is doing everything he can to avoid his Cervix Hammer's comment there.
Flow, but okay. Also, it's not a very good joke. She's disgusting. So
I know that's the joke, right? That's funny. All right.
Okay.
Anyways, moving on to this next post here. CNN just stunned viewers after stating the quiet part out loud after Democrats caved on the shutdown. The Democratic filibuster has been broken. They just called it the Democratic shutdown. Remember who refused to pay the troops? Yeah, we remember. Go ahead and play this.
Plenty more on the other side. We will talk much more about this. Again, you're looking live at the Senate floor as the Democratic filibuster has been broken. We have so far reached 60. We're waiting for the official count. But right now, 60 votes that would unlock moving forward with this plan to reopen the government on the Senate side. A quick break. More on the other side.
Wait a minute. The government was closed?
Right? Like nobody noticed.
It was just the DHS and the, like all the ICE and all that stuff.
Yeah. So what's funny is they always do this. You're looking live at the Senate floor as if something exciting is going on, and you look, and you're like, there's literally just a bunch of old dudes standing around doing nothing.
Well, that one kid. Did you see the one kid sat down? I mean, that was, I thought, pretty dynamic.
Dynamic, yeah. Wow.
On the floor, no less. So he's one of the pages. It looks like, but that's funny. The point of the post, though, is actually, I mean, the fact that they got 60 votes for it essentially showed that the Democrats couldn't, they couldn't make it happen.
Are we talking about this one real quick? Because this was adorable, and I'm pretty sure that's one of Trump's grandchildren.
Okay, go ahead. I hadn't seen that. That's cute.
To which Dort says, "Infantry. If you know, you know."
Well, yeah, it seems like this could have also happened during Elon Musk's mini trips when he was bringing his son.
Well, the next one we've got a spot of good news, eh?
Yeah. So this is definitely what you would call good news. Let's see. Let me open it up. It's still okay. Here we go. Breaking: Virginia Supreme Court is poised to strike down the 10 Democrat to 1 Republican gerrymandering map as unconstitutional. Former AG Ken Cuccinelli says the unanimous ruling is likely to come soon. Let's see what he says here on this CNN clip.
He's a Republican. Ken, good to see you. So first, I guess let's get to the breaking news. This judge in Southern Virginia ordering results to not be certified. The judge called the ballot language flagrantly misleading. What's your reaction?
Right. Well, it certainly was flagrantly misleading, but my basic reaction is that I appreciate lower court wins, but the Virginia Supreme Court is going to decide this. And to Terry's point about, well, hey, if they didn't decide it before, there's a reason the Supreme Court held off until after the vote. Over 100 years of Virginia legal precedent says that the vote in a referendum is part of the legislative process. It's analogous to a governor signing a bill. You don't sue on a bill that hasn't passed yet. So what they've done here in terms of timing is very much in keeping with the Virginia legal history. What isn't in keeping with Virginia legal history is how this General Assembly has so blatantly ignored the requirements of the Constitution to amend the Constitution. So I think it's highly likely that this will be overturned probably in May.
So CNN's Manu Raju pressed Speaker Johnson today about some of the criticism from Republicans that the Republican Party, did not spend enough money to fight the Democratic measure. Take a listen.
Republicans have spent more money. Trump didn't barely touch his super PAC money. Should you guys have spent more money?
We don't know the final result, but the president's team spent a lot. We put in overall tens of millions of dollars on that ballot initiative.
I mean, given the fact that the margin was much more narrow than a lot of Democrats anticipated, what do you think? Did Republicans miss a chance here?
Well, there's no question that the 3 or 4 to 1 spending difference was the margin. You know, when all the votes are counted, this will be about a 2 or 3 point win for the yes side. That is, it's hard to say that money didn't make that difference, but now they have to win 4 constitutional challenges, state constitutional to clarify challenges, and they have to win all 4 of them to hold on to this referendum. I just don't think they can do it. There's some very basic processes in the Constitution for amending the Constitution that they ignored. And now they're going to say, just like Terry did, well, 3 million people voted and you can't ignore the will of the people. Well, they were ignoring the will of the people and how they brought this forward. And now we're going to have it decided by the Virginia Supreme Court. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 7-0 ruling throwing this out.
All right, to be continued. Former Virginia Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli, thank you so much.
I'm about to get on a soapbox here. They always talk about you can't ignore the will of the people when their side wins. But the same person who said that signed the National Popular Vote Compact, which ignores the will of the people in Virginia, because it says even if Virginia votes for one candidate, if the rest of the country voted for another, that's where the votes go. So that disregards the actual will of the people of Virginia. 2, it was not about spending money. It could have spent every dollar they had in their coffers, and the party in control of the voting would have still stuffed ballots with false votes like they did.
Yeah, I mean, the problem here is if it's unconstitutional, it doesn't matter if they do everything right, it's still unconstitutional. They can win the vote.
This is why the American system is not based on the will of the people. It's based on a consensus, right? That's why we have the Electoral College. Because if 51% of the population votes to take all the money from 49% of the people, that's still not right.
Yeah, the tyranny of the majority, right? That's exactly right. And on top of that, there were structural problems with the vote in the beginning, i.e., the way the ballot question was written. But there's already massive reports of massive voter fraud on this as well. That kind of just-in-time votes on just the right amount of votes that we need to kind of get things over the line. I think we have not heard the last of this race, and I sure hope the Virginia Supreme Court overturns it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. All right. Let's see. All right. I think we already did this DoD stuff is I think the same stuff we watched.
Yeah, it is. So I think that's the end of it today.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys, around the horn, quick predictions, and we'll call it a morning. Joe?
More ceasefire violations on all sides. Hezbollah, Israel, Iran, except for us. We will abide by the ceasefire and continue to allow them to just shoot at us with no consequence. So that's what I'm saying.
My quick prediction is that they're becoming so desperate because of the blockade that they're going to start whipping out the You're stopping us from getting dialysis supplies, and there were orphans on that supply ship. And what are we going to do? Stand by for someone to tell you about an entire cargo ship full of baby formula that's been waylaid.
The Sarah McLachlan music in the background.
Yup.
I'm really surprised we haven't seen more of the humanitarian casualties. Oh my God. I think the European bloc is going to break on this in the near future. And it may not be this weekend, but I think it'll be maybe in the next 2 weeks. And you'll start to see some of the more kind of, especially the countries that have recent, more right-leaning governments, start to kind of approach the U.S. to say, hey, how can we help put an end to this situation so that we can get the tankers moving again? I think that's what you're going to see out of some of these European countries. So that's what I think. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thanks to Jim and Blaine, who had to take off earlier. As always, Joe and Watcher. We will be back on Monday, same time, same channel. If you haven't done already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notification. Tell people you're getting some good stuff over here on the Council of Future Conflict. We'll be back on Monday. Until then, stay safe.